You have found your way back to Navigation Studios, and we appreciate you being back. I am Wesley.
And I am Anthony. I found my way back. I was using Google Maps. It should be easier for you guys.
Yeah, if you want to get to the Red Pill phone tap, just go to Google Map or Waze and just type in, I want a better life. I want to understand life a little better. And hopefully Google Maps brings you to the Red Pill phone tap. We have got an exciting show for you tonight. Anthony, let's get through some house cleaning though. We are now going to be releasing on a new day.
Yeah.
Other than we were releasing on Monday mornings. We had some trouble getting released on Monday mornings because we had some issues. So, Anthony, tell all of our good people out there when they can get the Red Pill phone tap hot off the press.
Well, you're going to get it on a weekly basis, and you can listen to it at your leisure, but we will be releasing on Sunday nights, and it'll be ready for you Monday morning. We doing this for kind of like logistical reasons, so we can get, we can promote it out and get it to all the different places that we're going to be linking the podcast to. So it takes some time, and sometimes real life gets in the way. So giving ourselves a little leeway. So if you,
but this also means that they get it a day early.
Yeah. That's right. Juicy right there. That's a free present from the Red Pill phone tap to you. We love you. We love you. That's why.
Yeah. Because we have other issues, you guys are going to get it a day early. Now, it's probably going to be Sunday evening. Now, more housekeeping. Anthony, can you tell our listeners what formats they can listen to the Red Pill phone tap? Because I know that if you want to listen to us on your phone, YouTube is probably the most inconvenient way. But if you're listening to us on your desktop, sometimes YouTube is the most convenient way.
Right.
But what all formats can they find us on, Anthony?
Well, you just mentioned YouTube. If you're on your phone, iTunes. We're on iTunes, so you can listen there. You also Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And am I missing one?
I don't think so. And also to our fans, we are coming to SoundCloud. We have heard your voice. We will be coming to SoundCloud, not this episode, but next. We're committing to our fans. We will have SoundCloud availability by next week. We have some cool things coming this year, too, because we are going to be doing some live podcasts. So if you want it before Sunday, then we're going to have some live stuff coming. Also, you can email the show at the Red Pill phone tap at gmail.com. That is the Red Pill phone tap at gmail.com. The last 2 episodes, Anthony, we've helped some people out that have reached out to us. Is it the last 2?
Yeah. We had Bruno and Travis.
We appreciate you guys listening to the show.
And we got good feedback, so I'm glad we was able to help.
Well, hold on. I didn't know we had feedback. Other than the things that I saw, but Anthony, do you mind sharing with the audience, just kind of a brief synopsis on what we heard back? Now, obviously, Bruno was a very courageous young gentleman that reached out. He was actually a virgin, 24 years old. And hey, listen, that's his choice. And he reached out on a very specific date that he had a lot of chemistry on. He was a college basketball player. She was a college basketball player for the same school. And he just kind of had one of those dates like, hey, what went wrong? By the way, if you want to visit that episode, it's episode number 8. And we went through it in great detail. Episode 9?
Yeah.
You are right. That's episode 9. Went through it in great detail. And, of course, you guys can go back and listen to that. But he had one of those amazing dates where there was a lot of chemistry, and he wondered, hey, what went wrong? We didn't hold back. We told him what went wrong. But he also did a lot of things right, and I think that was important for him to learn as well. What was his feedback on that, Anthony?
Well, he definitely appreciated the feedback and said that it helped. He will actually save that particular podcast so that he can listen to it over and over again so that it can add to his game. So that was good to hear, man. It made me feel good.
Yeah, it always, I mean, we've talked about this a few times, but the genesis of this podcast is helping people. That's why we're not here for accolades. We're not here to be pat on the back because we inspired someone to blow. No. We're a no bullshit show about helping you fix your life. And you know what? If that makes us assholes in the moment, but it helps your life in the long term, that's why we're here.
Yeah, it's no candy-coated conversations here. We're going to give it to you the way we feel is necessary for that moment. You know, we're not barbarians. We're not going to say you ain't shit.
Yeah.
But we will point out the things that are necessary for you to grow. And when you're taking coaching, you're taking correction and you're being given instruction. So all you gotta do is absorb that as you're ready. Maybe you can only take one instruction at a time. Like Bruno said, he's gonna have to listen to it over and over again. Maybe he can only apply one thing in his life at a time, you know, until he can master it, until he's good enough to go to the next one. So
even if he only applies one thing at a time, do the math. You're already better.
Yeah.
You got better at one thing, you know.
That's the goal, man. It's Rome wasn't built in a day, you know, and
neither was
is
Bruno.
our life. Yeah.
Neither was Bruno.
None of us are born who we want to be. We strive to be those people, and we add to our lives based on the decisions we make. You know, you can decide to get up early or late. You know, it's up to you, the choices you make. So you can, even though we gave this podcast out and this advice out, he didn't have to listen to it. He didn't have to take it. You know, it's up to him. And if he does it, great for him. If he don't, you know, that's his choice.
With that particular young man,
oh, he's going to great places.
He was a really quick study. It's probably a lot of it comes from him playing athletics at a high level. He's just very, very coachable. With that young guy, man, he was picking up on a lot of great game really fast. So I'm glad to hear that response from Bruno. What about Travis? Now, to set this up for our audience that may not have heard the last episode, Travis was a classic story of my ex and I broke up, and now she's kind of coming back around because she probably got dicked down by Big Dick Rodney, and Big Dick Rodney ain't calling her back, so she's scared. So she's reaching back out to our friend Travis. And it was a really important story, Anthony, because most men find the red pill. Most men find Corey Wayne's work. Most men find Alpha Male Strategies YouTube channel because something like this happens. So it's really important for Travis. Our overall advice, as we broke down everything he shared with us, our overall advice was our experience is usually that guys, they'll get out and start dating. They'll play around with their ex a little bit because there's still feelings there. But our experience is most of the time, once guys get their skills in line, they usually find someone better than their girlfriend. And that was episode...
Or their ex-girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, that was episode 10, if you guys want to go visit the details on that. If anyone reaches out to the show, I don't think we've spent less than 2 hours breaking down what they've sent to us. It just touches our heart, Anthony. We're trying to... We're genuinely not speaking into the ether. We're talking to a person who has a real issue, so we're passionate about it.
And we've been through these issues, so it kind of is easy for us to cover those bases. When it's not coming to us like blindly, like we don't know what that is and how it feels to be in that position. We're coming from a position of experience, and on multiple occasions, not just one time. And I've been able to learn how to navigate those scenarios more efficiently as a man at this time in my life.
And the benefit I think Anthony and I have is each other. That's the reason that the show is titled The Red Pill Phone Tap, because we always envisioned, like, man, it's great that you and I have each other to constantly be bouncing ideas off of each other. I mean, it's what elevated our expertise level much, much faster than a lot of guys. Well, except for Bruno. That guy all by himself was doing good. But we constantly have each other to bounce ideas off of each other. And what we thought this podcast would be was like you guys getting a phone tap into you and I bouncing ideas off of each other so that you too could get your expertise level up to a high level so you're not out there all by yourself.
Right. It's very important to know that other people are going through or have been through what you're going through. You're not isolated or alone when it comes to the shit men got to go through when dealing with the opposite gender.
Anthony, I have something to tell you before we go into what we're going to cover today.
Yeah.
We have some pretty exciting news.
What's that?
That we did not cover in the pre-show. And
I see you on the map.
Yeah, we have a new country that has tuned in to the podcast.
All right, who is it? Y'all guess what country that is.
Yeah, I'll give y'all a few moments to guess while we talk about the countries that the Red Pill Phone Tap is in. Of course, we're here in the U.S. of A. You guys know that this podcast comes out of Houston, Texas, down here at Navigation Studios. And, of course, we have our friends up in Canada, India, shout out to Australia, Colombia, of course, the Philippines, Germany, Turkey, Republic of Singapore, and we have somebody to add to the list this week, Anthony. We have two to add to the list. We have a country called Other. So we will do more investigations on what that quote unquote country of Other.
Man, that ain't no country.
But we want to shout out to
government.
our new friends this week. Want to shout out to Denmark. Hey, welcome, Denmark. We appreciate you guys listening out there.
What do they speak in Denmark? Dutch?
I would think that would be Dutch. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Am I making it up? What's Dutch?
No, I believe that is it. Jesus. The people in Denmark right now are losing their mind. Look do you guys not
I
know?
apologize if I'm wrong.
I believe you are correct. It's got to be Dutch, right?
Yeah. It sounds right.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. That's incorrect.
Danish?
It is Danish.
Danish?
Wow. So Dutch is New Netherlands, correct?
Oh, I don't know. No, I was wrong about that. I don't know
because New Netherlands is Portuguese, isn't it?
Man, look, why are you giving us a fucking language region test right now?
You started this. You started this, sir.
I was curious.
Yeah, where do they speak Dutch? Is that in? No, I was correct. It was in
the Netherlands.
It's in New Netherlands.
The Netherlands. Okay.
So for some reason, I thought in Netherlands they spoke Portuguese. I know that our friends listening in Colombia speak
Portugal. They speak Portuguese.
Yeah, but no, in Colombia they speak Spanish, don't they?
Yeah.
It's Brazil that they speak Portuguese.
Portuguese, yeah.
Sorry,
they got so many different what do you call it for languages?
Dictions.
Dictions for Spanish, like.
When you say they got so many dicks, you got to be real careful.
So many dictions.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with so many dicks. Okay. Let's go through it. As you guys hear the sound That is this week's episode, brought to you in part by Baker's Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I know some people probably hear us popping bottles over here, and they wonder, what are we drinking over here at the Red Pill Phone Tap? It's usually some type of whiskey, bourbon or scotch.
Yep.
And we're usually drinking it neat so that we stay nice and warm down here in Navigation Studios.
I got a little burn right now going on.
So that's what we're drinking this week, guys. And then later on in the show, we will be sponsored by Monkey Shoulder Scotch Whiskey. That'll be happening later on. That'll be our creme brulee dessert.
We're not getting paid for it, but yeah.
Hey, listen, we're not getting paid by any of these guys, but we do like to recognize their art. And what we're going to cover today, I already feel like we have to apologize for that long intro. We hate watching shows and they go into a long intro. So
talk about what you're going to talk about, motherfucker.
Exactly. Sorry about that, our loyal listeners. What we're going to talk about today is we've got great topics for you guys. Today we're going to start out, we're going to be talking about jealousy. This is a topic that can't be ignored. We're going to always find ourselves in this place at some point. We're going to give you guys some great strategies on how to deal with it, maybe some paradigm shifts on dealing with jealousy, and that'll be the first segment that we cover. You guys that have listened to the show before know that our second topic is the one that we're really, really passionate about this week. And this week the segment's going to be called She Wants to Have the Talk.
Not the talk.
Yeah, she wants to have the talk. We've been dating a while. Where's this going? All right, and that's gonna be a really, really good segment because Anthony and I have a lot of life experience on this. I especially have a lot of life experience on this, and I'll talk about why. And then on the third segment, that we've 2 weeks in a row, we've missed our last segment, so we made sure to trim down the number of segments this episode. And the third segment is going to be red flags, okay? We're going to also say red flags, green flags, go on that segment. Because sometimes you can become obsessed with red flags and ignore green flags. But to Anthony's point in the pre-show, a lot of you guys are just putting the welcome mat out and ignoring some obvious communication that
if she's
this
hot,
girl's not right for your life.
If she's hot, they get all the green flags. Oh, go pass, go collect $2,000.
And pay special attention to the first segment about jealousy because we're going to cover a lot of things in there that are going to be pivotal to the third segment. But let's jump right into this, Anthony. Now, you were the one that wanted to bring the segment of jealousy to our listeners. What was your inspiration for bringing this out, Anthony?
I had got a DM, if you will, direct message about it, asking about, how to deal with jealousy because, as you know, getting out of a bad relationship and then getting into a relationship with let's say a higher attractive female, and it's easy to become jealous in that she's getting more attention than your previous girlfriends because you wasn't able to attract those women before. So
okay, I don't want to gloss over that. That is super critical, guys. So I'm only going to repeat what Anthony just said because it bears repeating. Okay, once you guys take the red pill, once you guys listen to videos from Alpha Male Strategies on YouTube, once you listen to videos of Donovan Sharp, The Sharp Reality on YouTube, once you read Corey Wayne's book, something surprising is going to happen to you. Okay, you're going to start getting higher quality women.
Yep.
But not just higher quality in looks. It's going to be a lot just higher quality women. They might have better careers. That can be really intimidating to guys. Like, wow, this woman actually makes more money than me.
Mm-hmm.
But the first thing you're going to notice is I've never been with bitches this hot. And it's because you're doing a lot more things right than you did in the past.
Right.
And Anthony points that out because it's super mission critical that you understand that and just keep doing the shit you're doing right. What a lot of our guys want to do is, okay, I've got these lower 5s and 6s, and the 5s and 6s are coming in droves now because I'm a different man now. But man, the first time you get a 9 or a 10 around, you're like, oh, I got to change everything I'm doing. This bitch is hot. I can't let this bitch go.
Right.
Shit.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And you know, I kind of jumped in on you, Anthony, but that's where the jealousy will start. It's because you're getting a higher quality woman, and this is brand new to some of our listeners, right?
Well, I just think about it, man. The hottest chick the first hot chick you got where you considered, oh my God, I can't believe. Well, other guys will tell you, man, you outkicked your coverage. They say shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you got that in your
Men
own
will say
head,
that about themselves.
yeah,
Because they've got this
and,
thing society taught them, like, I got to
That's
have
bullshit,
this fake
man.
humility. It's fucking stupid,
yeah,
man.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
That's a different topic for a different day.
'Cause I'm about to
We
say-
could talk about that for an hour for
Right.
sure.
Because
Just the dumb
I'll touch on it a
societal
little
shit.
bit. I won't dive into it. But guess what? Listen to what you're saying when you say that. You're like,
I'm not good enough.
right. So she gonna believe you. As soon as you start giving those vibes that you're not good enough, she's gonna believe that shit, and she's gonna pack her bags. She's gonna be looking for fucking cracks in the armor, man. So
Do you know why they
Don't
do
do
this,
this.
though?
huh?
Do you know why they do this? Like, because you just had a perfect example of something guys will say. Like, they've learned, I definitely outkicked my coverage. Because a real, like, fucking, like, for real high value male, like, you know, he's a vice president at Google, and he'll say some shit like that, but when he says it, it's like,
Jokingly.
it's obvious he's just being stupid humble. Because everyone around is like, yeah, okay, man. Motherfucker, you're the vice president.
we
of
know why
Google.
she's with you.
Yeah. And it's just something where someone of obvious high value is kind of giving his wife some scraps, as AMS will call it, give them some scraps. And then someone hears someone that they want to be, because they want to be a vice president of a company.
They
and
mimic
will,
it.
Yeah, they'll mirror or parrot or imitate this shit. But motherfucker, you're not the fucking vice president of Google. You know, it only works if you're like a 2%er, and I'm talking about a 2%er, not in looks, but as far as how much you make. 2%er career wise or money wise. You were born into money or something. Yep. I'm talking about you're in the top 2% income bracket.
Well, those
in your
guys,
country.
Those guys typically have a arrogance about them because everything that comes with that is easy to hold confidence. You're in better clothing all the time. You were dressed to the nines all the time, right? So that breeds confidence, right? So a lot of those things, and we're going to talk about this. We're not going to get off topic, promise.
Yeah, and just I have a great example. I just saw online recently that Johnny Depp went to go visit a children's hospital. He went as Jack Sparrow. He's fucking Johnny Depp. He's one of the biggest stars on the planet. And there was this little girl who was like, I cannot believe you came down here to visit me. And then Johnny Depp says, I can't believe you guys would actually want to hang out with me. You know, so it's one of those, that's a good example. But fellas, y'all are not Johnny Depp. I'm not Johnny Depp. Anthony's not Johnny Depp. So don't fucking do this weird shit. Because when you do it, it's different. It's, you're communicating, I'm not really good enough.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to parrot and imitate, in that case, a fucking 0.05%er, you know, top income. But But I digress, Anthony. So we talk about jealousy.
Well, I wanted to talk about what jealousy is, right?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's get some clinical definitions through here.
Jealousy is just a message from your brain that says something needs to change about me. Like, it is a combination of fear, anger, and insecurity at the same time. It's like giving you a sense of a lack of confidence, right? For example, like you was talking about, let's say that same guy comes in dressed to the nines, right? His suit fits him perfectly. He's about 6'2". You're sitting at the table with your girl on her birthday or something. You know, you're having a good time with her. This guy comes, and he's the exact opposite of who you are, and of all the bad points of who you are, he has the good points of those, right? So he's coming in, and you feeling this way, some kind of way, hoping he don't come sit next to you and your girl, and he does. Let's say he sit right next to you guys, right in her eye view, and he starts talking to her, giving her some conversation. Are you going to be jealous? Are you going to have fear that you're going to lose your girl to this guy because he's the opposite of you, of the worst parts of who you are? He has the best parts of that. And are you fearful that she's going to leave you for him?
Well, you're asking open-ended, but for the benefit of our listeners, Anthony, let's answer some of these open-ended questions.
Well, I think those are questions that come through your head while it's happening.
I'm just saying,
right? Like,
how would you answer them? Like, you're at the bar with a beautiful chick. And the same scenario. This
guy, yeah. I mean,
to me, being an attractive, high-value male, to me, is, and everybody on this show knows I have a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA fighting. One of the basic rules in fighting is no matter how good you are, there's probably somebody else out there, a little bit better than you. So as men, you got to have that mentality. It can't just be, and we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, it can't just be this fake confidence. You have to believe in yourself, but you also have to know there's some badder motherfuckers out there. And in the scenario you described, I think easily men can find themselves in.
Easy.
Yeah.
Anytime you go out in public.
Higher value male entered the room, right?
Yeah.
Let's help them through that scenario, though, because I think you just said it perfectly. Yeah.
You said, though, you can't have a false confidence, but I don't think that it's a false confidence. If it's let's say, you can say mentally that I can see this guy has attributes or characteristics that are better than mine in some way. You can see it, and if you're thinking it, like I'm big on energy. If you're thinking it, and your body's starting to affect, like you're starting to sweat, you know, you're starting to wring your hands, you're tapping your feet, you know, that's bad energy, and she feels it too, right? So the thing is that you got to have enough confidence in who you are that it doesn't matter who comes through. Even let's say this guy can take your girl that night from you. Mm-hmm. What does that do for you in your future, right? And you say, you know what? If I want to keep a girl like this, I gotta be better than what I am. So you just work on that, and you focus on yourself, but you don't fall apart because if she left you like that anyway, she would have did it anyway, and it probably would have did it in a far worse way, where you had to find out it was happening behind your back, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know. You can't control other people, right? You can't do that. So in a scenario like that, how do you mentally correct it where you're like, because for me, if it's my girl and that happens and I have some insecurity going on, whatever.
Well, for our listeners, define my girl. Is this a main chick you're dating?
Yeah, that's the only way.
Is it a third date?
That's the only way I'm going to feel insecure, right? if
if it's a third date, you're not feeling insecure.
No,
gotcha.
Not at all.
Gotcha.
If it's my girl and it's like we are just starting to date, right? Like we just segue. We had to talk.
Yeah, yeah.
If we had to talk, then it's my girl. But also, in my mindset today, I wouldn't get nervous about it. Like if he's having conversation with her, right, and she's laughing at his jokes, whatever. It's easy to say I'm gonna compare myself to this guy, but you don't laugh at my jokes like that. You gotta calm they'll laugh down. Like he ain't that fucking funny. We ain't at a comedian store. Like calm down with the laughs. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because I'll give her the energy. Like, hey, you're not with him. You know. Because hey, let me get the check. Let me get the check because. You're not going to disrespect me, right? And
yeah, but I bet you would communicate that a lot more covertly. I bet you would.
Oh, easy. Well,
yeah, and we have to remind these guys, like,
okay,
you have to stay in your masculine frame.
We be talk because this is how me and Wesley talk to each other.
Well, this is how we talk after the event happened.
Right.
And again, to remind a lot of our listeners, a lot of what this show is your internal dialogue.
Yeah.
But what you're going to put out to the public world is going to be a much cooler, calmer, staying in your masculine frame self. You would never turn to a girl, get some attitude, and let's just call getting... When men get attitude, let's just call it what it looks like to women.
Insecure.
You got butt hurt. Yeah, you got insecure. What? I was just and then you end up in these fucking weird conversations. What? I was just talking. What did you want me to do? Throw my drink in his face? He said hi. And then once that conversation starts, you cannot win because they are not going to talk about any motherfucking thing rational. And
I was going to say that. I was going to say the thing about dating for me that if I'm dating you, there's some core fucking rules that I have for somebody that I'm exclusively with. There's disrespect, you know what I'm saying? There's a level of disrespect involved when talking too long to somebody, some stranger, right? Like I'm never going to be okay with you disengaging with me to talk to a stranger other than some small talk or something that's prolonged beyond just, hey, what do you got on your plate that's look interesting? Does it taste good? Like, I'm cool with all of that. Hey, where do you get that? I like to buy that from wherever. Like, just making small talk, cool. But if you keying and you put your hand on this fucking arm and like lean into, I'm done with you. You know what I mean? That's not jealousy.
But what does that mean? No. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want our listeners to know, what does that mean? So you're on a date, and we're talking about something that doesn't happen a lot. Usually on a date, you're going to be at a table alone. But I guess you're talking more
at a bar.
That's what I'm saying. A bar, a shotgun style bar. Where it's just a straight, long bar. You go to the restroom, you come back, she's laughing, touching his forearm. Human touch is a big thing. We covered that in the Dating 101 episode. In that situation, you can't fault the guy, right?
No, I'm not mad at him at all. I would never, unless he got his arm around her, like, and she's obviously uncomfortable. Now, as a man, I'm going to address that. But if she's into it, like, then I'm going to address her, right?
Yeah.
And I'll deal with it. I'll talk to her, and I'll have the conversation with her about it, that it's unacceptable. And
you would have a overt conversation about it being
hell, I would check her at that moment, yes, in front of him.
So this is where, for our listeners, they don't get to hear you and I disagree very much.
Yeah.
Usually, We are reading.
So
from
you
the
have your
same
nice ways,
sermon.
and I have mine. But there's things that I don't allow at any point, at any time, because if I did it right, if I am, because when I flirt, I know how to flirt, and if you see me flirt, I know you're gonna have an issue with me flirting, because my flirting involves touching and escalating, right? So if I see you flirting and escalating, I have a problem with that. And if you say that you want to be with me, I have a right to check you on that and tell you that it's unacceptable if you decide that you want to be with me. You can be with anybody else and do that, but you're not going to be with me and do it.
I've had this happen before. And well, everything except for the touching. The young lady she was being charmed. You know, I would say this scenario was a guy who didn't have as much gentleman code as you and I do.
Okay.
Right? So I was away. He had been sitting there. That's why I say he didn't have much gentleman code, because he saw us together, right? And as soon as I left, you know these motherfuckers that think they're the smartest guy in the room, but really, because they think they're so strategic, they think they're a character in the fucking Godfather or some shit.
Yeah.
A lot of these meatball fucking Italian guys that you meet up in the New England area are like this. And they tell you, they always spout these fucking, Anthony, I always say, keep your friends close. But but keep your enemies closer. Yeah, man, we've all seen the fucking movie. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. But
I was already rolling my eyes.
yeah,
I was like,
you and I have talked about this off the podcast. These motherfuckers that watch these mob movies and think these are the greatest chess players on planet Earth. Not really. You're just kind of doing shady shit. You're killing your friends. You're breaking the law. You're ending up half your life in prison. You're not these great fucking strategists. You're just doing shady shit. And that's kind of that aura I got of this guy. So, and this was, I was probably only like 11 reads into How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne. But I just had happened to listen to a video very recently about a guy whose wife came home, and she came home a little drunk, so she was kind of confessing. She was kind of confessing that she'd had a dream about a coworker, and that's a difficult thing to hear, right?
yeah.
But this motherfucker
How vivid was the dream?
Well, they had sex in the dream.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was like, wow, I just, and she had a little bit too much to drink and confessed that she had been in a work event that night and confessed, like, man,
She told him?
Yeah. No. She told her husband.
Oh.
And the husband wasn't at the work event. So she comes home. She's a little tipsy. Yeah, this guy was there. He was kind of flirting with me. And, she confessed, I did have a dream about him. And the husband was so fucking alpha that he, I guess this motherfucker was so secure in his relationship.
Yeah.
And Corey Wayne was talking about how this guy was one of his friends that he knew most of his life, I think since high school. And he said he's just always been great with women. He's just always been really alpha with women. And he was like, and he just took it and he was like, oh, really? So you had a sex dream about another guy? What did you work with? You know what? The only way I can truly know how this dream how this dream went is you need to show me exactly how this went down in your dream. And
Yeah.
he makes
me.
Yeah, and he makes his wife do it. And they had this hot moment where, she's like, Jesus. And then he said it was never fucking brought up again.
Yeah.
She just got to kind of have her
little
fantasy. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't know if that's how I would have handled that.
I would have not
But
it wouldn't have bothered me.
I thought
though.
it was baller as fuck, though.
Yeah, I like it. I like the psychological part of it, and I wouldn't have gotten my feelings about it. I guess because it doesn't. I mean, fantasies are what they are, right? It's not something that you are.
Well, I don't think I would have liked fantasy of a coworker because they're still working together. But he's more alpha than me, right? I mean, he's more alpha than me.
I'm more of this. No one is mine, right? No woman that I decide to be with, or we decide to be with each other is mine, right? So I don't feel like I own anyone, and I'm okay with it not continuing based on some thoughts or actions that this person may take to the point where it's okay that cool. Is it gonna hurt that this motherfucker did this? But I'm not gonna try to hold on to this person. Like I said with the disrespect shit. Like if I correct her and say, look, hey, this seems very disrespectful. The way you're engaging someone as soon as I fucking walk away, we're gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay here with you.
Oh,
in this scenario, we're leaving.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it on the way home, and we probably have sex. I'm not gonna hold no fucking grudge, but you're not gonna do this shit to me, right? And if it happens again, this is not something that we're gonna have to have a talk about again. I just understand this is who you are.
I've got a note on that specifically that I'm going to come back to, or I would go into it now so I wouldn't forget. But I have a note on that exactly that we'll come back to. But I'll finish one of the experiences where I nailed this. Okay. So I come back, and anyone that knows, especially our listeners in Europe, they know what a shotgun style bar is. It's just one bar that goes all the way down. So this gentleman kind of had that thing about him, like me going to the bathroom and him flirting while I was in the bathroom. It made him smart. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that, right? And I just seen that Corey Wayne video. And so I was determined to stay in my masculine frame. And this was kind of a handsome dude. He was very, very fit, and he was tall. We all know from, if you've been here in the U.S. and you've been on dating apps, that is like the number one thing that women want. Yeah. So men that are tall walk around in the U.S. with some big dick energy anyway. They feel pretty good about themselves. So I came back, and I kind of observed for a little while. And he did reach across and make some physical contact, I think, with her face. Like, kind of rubbed his finger across her cheekbone. And then they shared a laugh.
That's not weird.
It wasn't the weird way he did it. He was a pretty slick dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't somebody that wasn't an adversary.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If this girl had been there without me, this guy's probably, at least going on another date, if not taking her home that night.
Yeah.
He was a dude that had some good energy.
So,
but like I said, I think usually what I'm used to is high value males usually have some rules of engagement, and this guy did not have it. Right? You just kind of got the feeling like he was specifically waiting for me to leave. So I kind of observed for a while. So it was clear to me that there was definitely some chemistry between the two of them. And I was thinking about trying to be James Bond, as Corey Wayne always says. And I'll never forget this. I came over, and I said, well, did I interrupt something? Kind of like I was offended at first. And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, whoa. You're not trying to steal my girl, are you? And he's like, No, bro, like he thought like I was getting upset.
About to take it there.
Yeah, like I was about to get upset. And he said, no. I was like, well, if you're not trying to steal her, you're crazy. And I was like, but I said, if you're not trying to steal her, you're crazy. And I was like, but I'm sure at least you can understand that I want her all to myself tonight. I feel bad, though, that we're going to leave you here alone because you can imagine we're going to be talking about some pretty adult things. So I feel bad you're going to be here all alone. Let me buy you a drink. And that was just, you could just see in the girl's face.
She switched.
Yep. This particular girl was an officer in the Army, too. You know, so she could tell, you could tell, like, once you showed strength with her, it was,
yeah.
You know, it was very, because once I offered to buy the guy a drink,
yeah,
that was all the confidence, like,
yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm so not worried about you. Let me spend some of my own money because I feel bad that you're losing to me, you know. Now, I don't want to act like I'm the, what we say last week, the Dalai Lamas of dating.
Yeah.
But I did in that moment. I was like, no matter what, I'm, you know, and of course, for people that listen to this show a lot, they know that I'm in sales and I'm able to shoot from the hip a lot, right? So that's something that's a skill I develop at work. That's not something everybody's going to do. But I went in more with an idea, like, because immediately I felt jealousy. Okay, Anthony, I felt jealousy. I felt like this guy could be better than me. I felt insecure about it. He's a tall, handsome guy, very well kept, you know. And I wasn't thinking about myself and my value as much as I was pretty focused on his, you know. And I think that's what happens to a lot of us guys.
Yeah.
But I just was so determined not to lose masculine frame. I had just watched that video on Corey Wayne, and I just saw how the old me, if my wife came home and told me she had a fantasy about a coworker, the old me would have guilted her into submission and, you know, gotten real butthurt about it. And I can't believe you did that. And it's fucking crazy. And, you know, versus the new me. And this was me still, you know, if you want to talk about my red pill life, this was like freshman in red pill college for me. But I just had gotten a great class by the professor that hyped me up. And I was like, I'm not going to lose masculine frame. And buying that drink for the guy at the end and saying, we're going to be talking about adult things. First of all, that gave me a little bit of, you know, expectation for the night. And her and I did end up going back and hooking up. It was expectation for the night. We're about to take the conversation to adult things. I'm announcing to him that, but
and her. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then I got to kind of make him look a little bit stupid. You're not trying to steal my girl, are you? Well, if you're not trying to steal her, you're crazy, you know. But you can understand I want her all to myself.
Well, you're complimenting her.
Right. You're doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah. It worked out really smooth. I liked it. For me, again, it takes so much to get me in the point where, like, again, if I'm dating someone, just regularly dating them, I could easily go into that mode. But it's different for me if you've gotten me to be committed.
Like you said, if we've had the talk and we're moving really close to monogamy,
right? And you pull some shit like that, that's a problem for me.
Oh,
but
so I have a note on this about that.
Okay,
I'm glad that you went into that, Anthony.
All right.
So you have given our listeners a scenario where you say moving, if not in monogamy, very close to monogamy. Now, jealousy to me, okay, we tell our listeners every week, imagine your life is a naval vessel. You are the captain of this naval vessel, okay? Your ship is leaving port with or without people, right? When you were in the Navy, Anthony, if you showed up a day late for that boat leaving port, do they sit around, where's Anthony?
Nope.
We can't leave without Anthony.
Nope.
Anthony! Anthony!
Not
Send us
even.
send us a text, Anthony. That boat's leaving.
Regardless.
That boat is leaving. And you got to think about yourself like that. This boat's leaving port with or without you. You, fellas, the situation you just said, you come back from the bathroom, you've committed monogamy to her. You come back into the situation, and the first thing you feel is jealousy. Fellas, this is a major red flag, and you need to really immediately go into a mode of, is this right for me? Like, should I get this person out of my life? Let me tell you, every one of you has either experienced this or seen a friend go through it.
Yeah.
That fucking bitch that'll drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Talking to other dudes, flirting with other dudes, fucking with other dudes. And every time, it's the same speech, isn't it? What? He's just a friend. Oh, my God. He's like a brother. Oh, my God. You don't, honey, you don't have to worry about him. And you're having that conversation too many fucking times, aren't you?
Yeah. Fuck
Your
that.
executive officer shouldn't always be talking to other captains of other ships. What? I'm just talking to him. What? Bitch, are you on this boat or not?
Yep.
Okay? And again, this is overt communication.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit down and have that conversation with her. But fellas, if you find yourself constantly being jealous, if you have conversations with bitches about it, and it's like, what? First of all, you should not be having conversations about it. But I'm trying to get you guys to engage memories of your past. That girl that, what? He friended me on Facebook. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Not be friends with him? We're friends. It says friends.
Well,
what do you want me to do?
Well, the worst is when they say, I don't even know him. Bitch, that's worse. It ain't better. I mean, you fucking with a stranger, and you're giving them more time. Because the thing is, for me, where I'm not telling you not to fucking engage. I'm a social person. You know, I'm an introvert, but I'm a social person. And I understand social dynamics. So, I know if you're a beautiful woman, you're going to attract men. I'm not worried about that. That's
Anthony,
not what I'm worried about.
Will you share the phrase that you shared with me a couple days ago? We were doing some show prep on this.
What'd I say?
What you were like? You're like,
We be saying a lot of shit.
You're like,
man.
I'll say it. Just tell me what I said. You told me, you were like, look, guys. I mean, at some point, you've got to realize this jealousy thing's not good because nobody wants bitches that nobody wants.
Right. Nobody.
You want to be with a woman that a lot of people want.
Right.
Right. I mean, case in point, my wife gets flirted with a lot. She works in the dental field, and people come in and they want to share. The reason you can tell these guys are flirting is because they want to share their fucking life with her. Just trying to get her to be interested in anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? She's the cute, beautiful Asian bitch in the office, you know? And there's a lot of that. But I can't sit over here and be like, in my feelings about it. You know, there's people professionally that flirt with her. You know what I mean? But yeah, because I got a fucking attractive bitch. You know, I mean, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like you said, Anthony, you said it earlier this week. Do you want to be with a chick that nobody wants?
Right.
Because that means you don't want her
Exactly.
either.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. But at the same, so be ready for that. Be mentally ready for that. But the reason I say sometimes this is a red flag, guys.
Don't treat her like a girlfriend while you're dating her, though.
That's a very good point.
Do not do that, because that gets you in trouble. I was I recently was talking to a friend.
We talked about that this week. We talked about this is why men don't bring up relationships.
Exactly.
Because once a man brings up relationships, this is the green light. That means bitches don't have to change.
Nope.
That means
you accepted her for who she is at that moment.
And let me tell you, fellas, that's not her fault. That's yours.
Yep.
Once you say, let's do this, girl, you're my girlfriend now, that means everything they're doing is okay
and
moving
enough.
forward.
And it's enough. Yep.
Yeah.
The my friend, man, we were talking about jealousy a little bit, and one of the things that he found himself asking her is like, "Do you love me? Or do you really love me?" And I was like, "Man, that is like kryptonite to a woman, bro."
Yeah.
It's so you're telling her that you do not feel like you are enough when you are asking that. Like you're like, you love me?
You're also telling her, I don't think you love me.
And I'm needy.
Yeah.
And again, like, let's say, man, I don't want to get too deep. We didn't think we was going to talk about this long either.
We didn't even, yeah. but, I mean, I think our listeners want to hear this because jealousy, and let me make it okay for our listeners. Jealousy is a natural human reaction.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But so is wanting to eat fucking 10 donuts. You have to have some discipline on this. And the way that you stay disciplined is remember your life is your battleship, your cruiser, your aircraft carrier, your submarine, whatever naval vessel is your life, it's yours. And you are the captain and you are courting an executive officer for your boat. But you are fucking in charge of this. And if you look at it like you're the owner of this company and you're just fucking interviewing your vice president for your company, it really helps shift paradigms to where you can date a lot easier. And I think it helps jealousy a lot too.
Well, he's also checking her cell phone, text messages and stuff.
Well, okay. You're talking about the specific situation. So if you find that you need to check cell phones, to me, one of two things is happening. Either you're fucking around on her because it creates this incredible paranoia.
Projection.
And I'm not,
Projection,
guys,
right?
I'm not talking about the occasional glance. I mean, every guy in a relationship should occasionally be like...
No snooping
like,
text.
all right, what was that? Or ask some questions. So, text messages at 11:30, that's cool?
Hell no.
Yeah, but it is if...
Wait, it's your mama? Oh, okay.
Oh, it's your mama? That's fine. Is it coworkers that won't stop texting?
Hell
That's
no.
okay.
Yeah. Well, Well, coworkers that's texting in a group, like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Coworkers texting in a group is in the year 2020 is a real thing.
Yeah.
But if your chick is like, I'm going to shut this shit down right now, and she gets her phone up and she's like, yeah, these fucking dumb bitches. Look what they said here. I mean, if you have a good chick.
I was just about to say, if she's on the up and up, she will have no fucking problem with that shit. Like, if you're like, because she wants to prove her loyalty. Mm-hmm. That's a good chick, right? Where she's eliminating doubt for you. And that's a good woman right there.
Yeah, if you were on your aircraft carrier and be like, so we're leaving the F-18s up on the deck all night because there's one of them there, and you're like, and then your XO's like, no, Captain, this one specifically here because before we brought it down, we had to take some of the armament off before we could fold the wings up. That crew doesn't come on for another hour. That's why we have Seaman X and Seaman Y over here. They're making sure that it's tied down. It's good to go. The weather tonight, we don't expect bad weather tonight. We didn't think it was a risk, but we still have these two dudes here watching to make sure it's secured down. They're not leaving until the next crew comes on to take the armament off. When your XO goes into explanations, you're like, okay, this motherfucker knew what he was doing. This wasn't some sort of weird mistake.
Right.
You're like, all right, good job, XO. Carry on. Carry on. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I mean, that's what your chick should be doing. I want to keep my job as your chick. And furthermore, there is nothing going on here. And, check out. And why the fuck these dumb bitches text this random shit at night and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a good chick. Let me tell you what a red flag is. I should be able to, once the sentence starts like that, guys, this is a red flag. You need to, don't say shit to her, but you need to move into a place where you start asking yourself some serious questions about, does this bitch belong on my boat?
I should be able to text who I want to text whenever I want to text without you talking about my text.
Right. Yeah.
That's a red flag for sure.
Yeah. How come you're asking about my texts?
Yeah. The defensive.
Again, guys, let's go
defensive.
back. Let's shift paradigms. Why are you asking about the F-18s? You know I always take care of the fighter jets out here. Why are you questioning me? That's not how XOs talk to the captain.
No. Captain
wants info. He gets over info from the XO.
This is his ship, not yours.
Yeah. And fellas, this is your life.
Right.
Yes, and you're the captain.
You have a right to know what's going on in your life, because is she inviting somebody over to your house when you're not there, that you should be able to know that.
Yeah.
If that's happening. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying you don't know if she won't tell you. If she's defensive and saying, why do you need to know? And it's like, well, because you live here, bitch. Like, you're under my protection. As long as you're here, I'm responsible for your well-being.
Anthony, for our first-time listeners that do not know, you are a veteran of the U.S. Navy.
Yes.
Can I ask you, that we're not speculating here, who's the number one in-charge motherfucker on any ship?
The captain.
The captain. Who runs the ship?
The captain.
Well,
everybody runs the ship as far as
the XO runs the officers. The captain kind of oversees the XO, if I'm not mistaken.
The sailors actually make everything in the ship run, but who's responsible for the shit actually happening? Well, there you work up the hierarchy, right? But the captain will. Let's say the captain is off the boat for whatever reason. The XO is in charge. So
okay. So I don't want to put words in your mouth. You were there, not me. I thought that the captain ran the XO and the XO ran all the other officers. I thought that was kind of the dynamic.
Well, it depends on the captain, though.
Yeah. I mean, you got to talk about the specifics, right? I mean, different leadership styles, right?
Yes.
And we have different types of listeners listening to the program.
Right.
People in Denmark might run their house a little different than the people in Turkey that listen to us.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, it depends on the captain. But
one thing is firm, though. The XO never questions the captain.
No.
Doesn't ever get sideways with the captain.
Not at all.
No. And our listeners with the guys, I'm going to tell you. Because we're using this fucking brilliant Captain XO analogy. Because we used to talk about General and Colonel, but this is so much better. Because like we've always said, when a boat leaves port and goes in the middle of the goddamn ocean, there are lives at stake. Humans can't live in the middle of the ocean. They can't just get off the boat and be like, middle of the Atlantic's cool, and just walk around on top of the water. And no, man, this is dangerous shit. Lives are at stake. And I can't imagine that if a captain in the Navy ever has a boat sink, I bet that's like a career ender.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he gets demoted and
for sure.
Yeah, he'll never get promoted ever again.
I don't think he'll ever get another boat.
Yeah. It's just that mission critical, even if it's not his fault,
Oh, you're responsible though.
Yeah, but you're responsible. But it's so mission critical to have a great captain when you're in the middle of the damn ocean. I mean, there's things out there that'll swim around and try to eat your ass. You can't breathe underwater. It's so fucking mission critical. So, fellas, if you can switch into the paradigm of being the captain of a ship. I'm here to tell you guys where you are in charge, but your girlfriend, wife, or fiance is the executive officer. In other words, they're the top officer in your life. But you have to switch into the paradigm where you're in charge. Guys, I know some of you won't believe me. I know many of you will listen to this program. This makes women feel so good. They just get to be a woman, don't they, Anthony?
Yep.
They just get to be a woman.
That's the ultimate exhale for women, where they can just
all
relax.
These lives on the boat are not in my hands. The captain, whew, he's got the experience. All you, and listen, just like we were explaining about the jealousy conversation. Wait, he's just a friend, and he's like a brother. You're just in a fucking conversation of nothing.
I love the analogy, because the XO never comes to the captain telling the captain how to run his ship.
Mm-mm.
And if the XO does, then the XO will get corrected, and was like, no.
Oh, word? This ain't your ship.
Right. Know your role. This is my program. This is how I run it. Please execute the commands. Because you can't not be on the same page, and I say go right and you want to go left. It's not going to happen.
No. And then in the middle of the ocean, some shit like that happens. Boat sinks, people die.
Right.
I'm
in command. If you don't like it, find another boat.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, this isn't the only boat.
Right.
Yeah. But my boat, my way. And I'm telling you, all these women, fellas, that say they want 50-50.
That's a lie.
They say, but don't be mad at them, fellas. They say it because it kind of sounds good. But it doesn't make them happy. What makes them happy is having a competent captain in the middle of the ocean. Man, we can handle jealousy all night. Let's move on to our next segment, because believe it or not, if you're listening for the first time, that is the topic that we're second most passionate about. We haven't even gotten to the segment we're most passionate about. Let's move on to our next topic. I have a feeling we'll be talking a lot more about jealousy later, though. Let's move on to our next topic. She wants to have the talk.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And I love that we were just talking about our analogy about Captain and the XO. Because we could start this segment off by being like, she wants to have the talk. Many of you guys out there are like, God damn it, yeah. There is this one girl that I've been seeing for a while. It's rising and rising and rising. I know she's about to bring what are we, or whatever women say when they want to have the talk.
Where is this going?
Yeah. But
who am I to you?
Right. But let me tell you, fellas, in the United States Navy, one of the officers on the ship doesn't ever approach the captain and go, all right, so if I don't become the XO, next time we hit port, I'm out of here. I'm done. I ain't gonna do this. I was like, bitch, this ship is going into port and it's leaving port, no matter who's on it or who's not on it.
Right.
I mean, again, I love that paradigm shift, guys. Your life is the ship, and you are the captain. Nobody comes to negotiate with the captain, motherfucker. Nobody. The captain it's a non-negotiable position. Like, hey, captain. Hey, what's going on? Seaman Jones here. Hey, captain, check it out. You guys have given us 3 square meals a day on the ship. Yeah, I'm glad you're happy with it, Seaman Jones. Actually, we're not. We would like 4 square meals a day because bitches be hungry. Now, if you could just go to, and the captain doesn't go, well, hold on, can we do 3.5 meals? Can we do 3 meals and a snack? I mean, will that help you guys? Captain's like, No, motherfucker. We brought enough food for 3 meals a day for everybody. And enough food just in case we get stuck at sea or we got to fucking turn around. Motherfucker, I ain't got fucking just snacks sitting around. Fuck out of here.
Well,
Captain's
the other
not
captain gave me snacks.
Oh, great analogy. But the other captain gave me snacks. Yeah. Probably not as good a captain as me. All right? I'm very decisive on how much fucking food.
But you ain't on his boat.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why aren't you on his boat? Well, we ran out of gas one time in the middle of the ocean because, all that extra food he packed for snacks kind of bogged down the shit. But the extra snacks were so good. But why'd you get on this boat? Well, we've never ran out of fuel on this boat. Yeah. Sailor, get the fuck over there. Captain, don't fucking negotiate. Anthony, she wants to have the talk. How many times has this happened to you?
Oh, man, countless times.
This happens to you almost. It seems like when I'm talking to you, this happens to you almost fucking monthly. Like, if not once every couple of weeks. You're always kind of just. It's become so common for you that this is kind of just a conversation you have in passing. This is even really. It's not even really an event for you anymore.
When you was talking about, hey, if I'm not the XO, then I don't want to be. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. My next port will leave.
The good news is I'm not the only ship.
Right. So I'm going to be okay.
The bad news is you got to get off the boat now. We will heliport you out of
it's
here.
It's like a false ultimatum is what it seems like. Like an ultimatum, you have no negotiating stance for me to even, like, you have nothing to offer me, right? So when you talk about being in a position as a man and you're not asking for a relationship, the woman is going to initiate that, fellas.
And they should. That's not a bad thing.
So she's not wrong for wanting to be in a relationship. I don't say that she's wrong. I don't. And guess what? And if I'm having mutual thoughts, then the conversation can be had, right? But if I'm not on that level, then I guess we are going to have a talk, huh? And the talk for me isn't going to be too much of me. I will listen to her plight and see what it is. But for me, you have to earn your way into my life. You can't just request it. You can't just desire it. You have, because if you're doing actionables, then when you get to that point and you are interested in being my XO, then I'm like, yeah, you do XO shit. So I'm not really surprised that you have requested this position. Let me tell you what this position entails.
Could I guess that's a higher level chick?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm with you, and more importantly, our listeners are with you. You're like, well, hold on. You have some XO qualities.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you've put in your application.
Yeah.
For this position.
Yeah. Let's talk about what the job entails, right? So that's a conversation you have, right? But again, if you're not ready for it, guess what?
You can reapply within the allotted time frame.
We'll keep your application on file for 30 to 60 days. And if you like to reapply, yeah, put your. But
let's hold on, Anthony. I've heard lots of these stories, but for the benefit of our listeners,
okay.
You touched on to something that I know that you do, and you tell them this is what the job entails. But you're paraphrasing for the sake of our listeners and for the sake of our inner inner dialogue and inner strategy.
Because every person's different.
Yeah, but how do you communicate? Give us some examples of how you communicate that to the woman, like what this job entails.
Is she on my level? Am I?
I want you to give us both. I want you to give us the highest level conversation and the lowest level, so that we have an example, some really black and white different examples.
Okay.
So she's come to you. She wants to have the talk. For the benefit of our listeners that have maybe never had this happen, tell our listeners what the girl will typically say. I think where is this going is a big one, right?
Well, they want more time. Is what will normally come up. Well, because I'm normally seeing you maybe once a week, so. So you're saying a lot of times this doesn't come up just in one conversation. No.
They're leading up to. By the way, you're so right. To be honest, I've been out of the dating game so long, I forgot. They're giving you little
That's
lead
where it
ups.
Starts. This is where it starts.
Oh man, this is why you're so valuable to the show, because you're still in the dating game.
Yeah.
I forgot. They'll give you little lead ups.
Yeah.
Like they won't just come out and say, "Where's this going?" But they'll start. We always talk about women communicating covertly. They'll start asking for more time.
Yeah.
So tell them about the frequency. They'll go from once a week or once every 2 weeks to what?
Well, they'll try to, hey, I was in your area.
Oh, God, you're so right.
And just want to do, can I come by? I'm near you.
This is so right. Nothing was planned.
No.
And they just want to pop in.
Yeah.
And you can fall for this so easily because you're about to get sex.
Exactly.
And you're like, man, this is nice. Sex just fell in my lap today.
Especially if it's a late night call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once you start seeing someone long enough, sex is just kind of a given, especially if you're only seeing each other once a week. You're going to get that sex if it's only once a week.
And I agree, because I'm thinking about one right now. It's like, oh, yeah, that was a daytime drive-by. And we hooked up. So, I agree. So I guess the time don't matter.
I don't know. I'm having a live light bulb moment. I'm like, fuck, I forgot they do this shit. They start doing the drop bys and like you said, not demanding more time, but kind of forcefully asking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't tell me no for your benefit.
Right. Yes.
So they feel like they're doing you a favor, but in actuality, they're intruding on your time. So
hold on. That along with, they know what they're doing.
Oh,
they know that you value sex.
Yeah. This is not a. This is a strategic move, and it's not that. And let's say she's high value, right?
So her DMs are full every day.
Yeah. The thing is, though, man, and this is when I was in my AMS listening days, where no matter how high value she is, if she's a 5, if she's a 9, she gets the same time. But.
That's hard to do when a 9 wants to drop by, though.
Man.
And let me tell you, fellas, they know that.
Trust me.
They know that. They know they're a 9.
Yeah.
And they know dropping by is big. And we talked about this, I think, specifically last week. Eventually, you'll find she's your girlfriend because she has not left you any time.
Right. You have no. She's left
meet up with anybody else.
Exactly.
She's the only bitch left on the roster.
Right. She has stole all your time because she's forcefully put her way in your radar by saying, "Hey, blah blah blah." She knows your schedule. She said, "Hey, at this time, I was thinking about this," and you're like, "Well, shit, yeah, that's time that I have free." So you're like, okay, she's hot. I'm spending time with her. It's my free time. Cool. But if you have other people that you're dating, you can't always give that free time because it may belong to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, though, when it comes to this, and it's a whole nother topic about dating multiple women, but the talk is going to happen because you probably are dating other women. And she probably has a good idea that you are if you haven't told her.
Yeah, she's been playing her own game of whack-a-mole with the women that you're dating. She's like, you can't see him here, you can't see him there. She keeps whacking those moles as
I
they
got
pop up.
all your weekend. You ain't seeing nobody, right?
Hey, I was wondering if you wanted to hang out this weekend. Oh, okay, cool. What'd you want to do? Hang out with you on Saturday and Sunday?
Right. Oh, let's go. Let's have a stay. What they got? A staycation.
Yeah.
let's go to a hotel downtown all weekend. What?
And guys, I know a lot of you guys are giggling with us, as you should. But let me tell you guys, this is not easy when you have like a 9 or 10, especially if they're really, really good in the sack. And you're like, well, what I really want is really great sex. And this girl's giving me really great sex. Next thing you know, your roster has dwindled down to only her. So you are now going to have your arm twisted.
But guess what? In that same caveat, the women that you have on your roster are like, hey, I ain't getting time. I want to see you.
So they're starting to answer a lot more DMs because they haven't seen your ass in fucking 3 weeks. Yeah. And even though you had a good roster filled out, this is a different podcast, but the girls on your roster have a roster too, but whatever.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And a lot of those guys are in friend zone.
Yeah.
But you're one of the guys. But I wrote down this note, Anthony, because I want to get back to the specifics of no. You know what? Before we get into that, I want you to tell me. Let's go through. So they're already kind of getting more time. So you're experienced, and you know. Okay, I see what this bitch is doing, but a lot of our guys don't. But tell me about when they finally have the talk. Let's
say they earned the time, right?
Because they're doing everything a good XO is supposed to do.
Right. And they start earning your time, and they do deserve the time you have. Right? So, cool. And then it's like, okay, I don't want to just see you in your free time. I want to be around you all the time.
Well, hold on. Is this what they say to you?
Not in those words, but in
the
way where
listeners, I want to hear what they say.
So, let's say for instance, because I cook on the side, right? I'll cater to a company, whatever,
right?
And I've had a chick say, "Hey, I'll help you prep. Like, if you need anything help."
By the way, for nothing, for no money,
no money, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, this is.
Yeah. So this is her being a.
This is where our listeners have to know nothing is really free.
Yeah, this is being a value add into your life, right? She's like, I'll help you in what you're doing so that it'll be faster, and then you'll be done with it quicker, and then we can have some time in between that time.
Well, a lot of guys wouldn't even have the forward thinking that you're having. You're like, I know what this bitch is doing.
Oh. 100.
Nobody would just come chop vegetables for fucking free.
No.
No, but I love to cook.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? No, the thing is, though, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all because I want to see if it's just words, right? She can say what she want to do, but when she's there, is she actually doing it and being a part and adding value to me?
Sidebar to our listeners. This is an example of Anthony constantly vetting these women. I'm sorry, Anthony, I interrupted. Go on, but I just want to point that out to our listeners because you and I talk about how men should be constantly vetting, and most of you guys out there, and we're just giving you your medicine, most of you guys out there are doing no vetting when what you should be doing is constantly vetting.
Yeah.
So you're trying to see what, Anthony, by like, all right, come on over, but what are you looking for? You're like, hey, are these just words? Or
are these just words? Because I don't believe nothing they say to me. Even if they've been telling me the truth the whole time, I want to see what she's saying is real. Like, is this just an excuse to get over here so you can see what I'm doing, or just to see if I'm doing what I said I was doing? Right?
Right.
If you just came over here just to see what I was doing, you're like, oh, well, he's not fucking another bitch. So, okay, well, I gotta go. Bitch, you didn't come over here to help me. You know, your shit wasn't genuine. Now I see that you're just
a control freak.
You just wanting to see what I was telling you was valid, and now I can't trust you because you keeping tabs on me like that, meaning that you're like, oh, well, if you're doing that, then you don't have time to check up on me if I'm doing something else now. So that's where my mind is going. Like, if you're not genuine in your words and your deeds, then I don't really want to give you that time to have access to my life that way, so you can just come in as you please and then keep me, guessing as to where I stand with you, right? So if I'm honest, if she came in and she did a good job and helped me in some capacity, let's say she came in and she tried to help me and she sucked, right? And I'm like, okay, she tried, right? And I was like, babe, don't do this. Just do this for me, okay? But the thing is, if she honestly wants to spend time with me, that's the XO saying, hey, I want to be a part of your program. Let me know what you want, how the ship is running. What are the caveats of running this ship? Because I want to be able to help you run this ship efficiently and effectively.
No, for real. I really want to be on this boat.
Yeah. That's fine. You want that, right? You want a woman to be that involved. But if she just want to ride,
Oh, yeah.
Then
okay, this is not Carnival Cruise over here.
right.
This is a boat where everybody's got a job. There's lives at stake, and you're part of the crew.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you're asking for like the second most important job on this ship.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Men need to start having standards when they're dating women, man.
Anthony, do you mind repeating that for our listeners?
While you're dating women, have standards, because they're so used to having this long list of what you need to do without you saying, oh, that's good. Nice list. Here's mine. Right? So you gotta have let people earn their way into your circle. There's no free rides, because you're the guy that she got in her phone called free meals. You know what I'm saying? Foodie Bay. That's your name in the damn phone. You're not, what I'm saying? You're not Big Dick Rodney. You're not Long Dong Malone. You're fucking
Foodie Bay.
And entertainment. You're a fucking concert guy. You know what I'm saying? No one's like. There's another rule I have. If I'm just dating you, I'm not investing in no high dollar fucking entertainment for you. You have to earn your way into my circle for me to.
Well, that's for girlfriends and wives.
Yes.
That's who that's for.
I'm not taking you on no concert. I'm not taking you to no festival or event in the city. That's for girlfriends and wives. I agree.
Get our listeners to what women. I mean, you've given a few example of phrases, but you've kind of shared with our listeners, and like I said, light bulb moment for me, because I forgot that they kind of drop you hints that the conversation's coming.
Yeah.
So what usually, and also it's because I know this has happened to you recently. They'll kind of drop hints that the conversation's coming, not just with time, but certain things that they'll say, which will be like, well, I don't know, because, I mean, obviously, I don't hear from you for 2 days, and you, I don't know if I want to be dealing with a player. Sounds easy, right?
Yeah.
Not that easy. Because you have to know how to set the standard that we don't talk like this on this boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do remember those. Like, well, I haven't heard from you in 2 days, and so obviously you out digging down everybody in town. Let me tell you, fellas, so that you know, and with their machine gun laugh comes after. This is not them joking. This is them. This is them testing the waters to see what they're allowed to say to you.
Right. That's big.
And this is where they're setting up the conversations coming. I mean, you're out there, so she's trying to get you to say, "No, baby, only person I put my dick in this whole world."
That's what she wants you to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that.
As soon as you say it, though, her pussy goes dry.
Right. Because she's like, damn, nobody else want them? Am I the only gal out here that want? See, it sounds like that's the right thing to say, but it actually isn't, because she's like, well, I don't want to waste my time with a guy no one else wants. We were just talking about it earlier. No guy wants a gal nobody wants. Mm-hmm. No woman wants a guy no woman wants.
Yeah.
So it's a psychological thing or a biological thing, however you want to say it. But the truth of the matter, see, we worry about what sounds good, but we dealing with red pill shit. So we talk about actualities and reality.
Right.
The reality is she's more attracted to you if other women want you, and you have the capacity to get other women. Not Corwin. Patrice O'Neal said in a joke about fishing. She was like, he caught the fish. He said when a man go fishing, he got the boat, he goes out in the water, he casts his line, his bait. She bites the bait. He's on the boat. He shows off the fish.
He catches the fish first.
Yeah, he catches the fish. Shows the fish to all his friends. Show him what kind of nice fish he can catch.
Take a picture with it.
Take a picture and throw her ass back in the water.
And your girlfriend is the fish that jumped back in
the boat.
and you're like, you gonna be around this part of the ocean sometime again soon? Flapping around on the boat. You gonna be on this part of the ocean? You're like, yeah, I think so. Like, but I might be looking for like other fish.
Exactly.
Really? Is this how you treat all the fish? As it flaps around on the boat.
Like,
That's how you treat
God.
all the fish. Yeah, that's what's really, really funny. But it's one of those things where you have to be, when these are like lead up conversations. Say, I think you were out there. I mean, I hadn't heard from you in 2 days. You're probably out there fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Partying your ass off.
Are you fishing for other fish out there?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
And you have to keep it light.
Yeah.
Because you're only talking to her on the phone to set the next date, right? And you're just going to say something clever like, I know you've been out there like fucking other bitches. Look, man, it was my first time at the Playboy Mansion. I didn't know things got that crazy, but look, I'll take you up there sometime. But where are we going next? What's going? And set the date and get off the phone. Yeah. Every time she brings up this trial close, what we call in sales, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get him to say, I'm the only bitch he's fucking.
But
you gotta shake it off. You gotta be like,
she don't want you. As soon as man, I'll give you a real life example. Had a chick begging me to be in a relationship with her, like over and over again, every time I went out with her. And I'm like, man, like, no, that's not what I'm ready for. That's not what I want to do. As soon as I give in, Wesley. And I say, fine, let's see where this goes. Guess who doesn't want to be in a relationship anymore?
Mm-hmm.
The one that was crying and begging me on the date and making me trying to feel guilty. And I'm like, what the hell? I was doing what you fucking wanted. And I fell into it, and this is why I don't fall into that shit no more. You are not going to negotiate with me with no fucking ultimatum, and
Are you telling me the captain doesn't negotiate? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not going to negotiate. If I'm not ready to leave port, my ass is staying put.
Yeah. Now, you brought up something that is a major note that I have on this segment. We're going to go back to women, what they say to you when they give you the talk, and how you handle it. I, too, have some specific stories, so we're going to go back to that. But what I want to share with you is what Anthony was just talking about. Having your arm twisted into a relationship. Let me tell you guys, every time this has been done for me, where my arm has been twisted into a relationship, those relationships were utter fucking terror. And here's why. If you had your arm twisted to get into the relationship, you didn't want to be in a relationship with that bitch. Okay? No. And this is, for a lot of the younger people listening to this may not resonate with you.
Not yet.
But for some of our older fellas, and I'm talking about 33 and above, you're going to know that it used to be a thing where if you had sex with a chick, you kind of owed her something, or you were an asshole. It ain't like that now.
Nah.
Now, after the sexual revolution.
Yeah.
Bitches are just out here fucking willy-nilly.
Yeah,
but back in the day,
sex was relationship shit.
Like, yeah, back in the day, it was
go
like,
together.
Look, I want to have sex with you, but you ain't gonna just fucking have sex and bounce on me, motherfucker.
Right.
Okay, so that's the way life used to be. Okay, so it was really easy for bitches to twist your arm back in the day because they were like, "Look, I had sex with you. What are you? Are you one of these fucking assholes that uses women?" And because men genuinely have shame and we care about what other people, how other people feel, because we're protective men, you know, especially regular cool dudes, we are protective of women and children, right? We don't want to do nobody wrong. So we'd be like, man, I did fuck her because my dick was hard and she was naked. Guess this needs to be my girlfriend now. Do you see the difference? Okay, let me say the sentence two different ways. Guess this girl's my girlfriend now. Or, ha! Guess this girl's my girlfriend now. You see the difference in the two? It's two different things. Women used to be able to guilt men into relationships using their vagina. And there's still some fucking women out there that subscribe to this old school ass shit. Versus some of you younger fellas are more up to the times where you're like, so you had sex with me? So now what? Now what, bitch? I hope you had an orgasm. Like, that's all we get in this life with sex now. You don't get a relationship out of it. You hopefully get an orgasm. That's it. In the year 2020, that's what life is, right?
Yeah.
Anthony, I've had my arm twisted twice into relationships.
Yeah.
And guys, if you've ever had your arm twisted into a relationship...
Do I know both of them?
One.
Okay.
One of the two. But both is the same thing. And we've talked about this topic many times on the podcast. These were both bitches I did not want to be in relationships with. They guilted and twisted my arm into it. Each one had one thing in common. I felt like I was dating down physically. These were women that were not as attractive as women I'm used to. And yes, you know one of them very, very well. Pretty recent.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was very much like, arm was a little twisted, not someone in the looks category, even though this person thinks they're beautiful and thinks that they're a model on Instagram. This bitch looked like a hot mess with no clothes on, Anthony. Jesus Christ. My brother joked that this bitch looked like a fat person from the waist down got sewed to a skinny person from the waist up.
Oh, damn.
And it's not a bad description, actually. Like, damn. Big old ass and thick thighs.
She had
everything.
ass.
Yeah, and big old thighs.
That was
But then everything from the waist up was like a skinny girl.
the only attractive thing I saw on her.
Well, when you have an ass like that, you have to have the legs to match, and she did not. Each time that I had my arm twisted, they were girls that I dated down for, and being that I was not intelligent about relationships at this time, I thought these gals were gonna be grateful that I was dating down.
God. No.
That I was dating down.
No. What is it? What's the term that you told me?
You do not get credit for dating down. These hypergamous, narcissistic women, they just think this is just what they deserve in life. And it doesn't matter who they're dating. The ex that I'm talking about that you know, that had a bit of a glow about her, this bitch could have been dating Brad Pitt and not been grateful. She'd have been like, yeah, of course, man.
I deserve Brad Pitt.
I deserve Brad Pitt, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It could have been Channing Tatum. It could have been Idris Elba. She'd been like, yeah, man, I'm pretty sure that,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, probably a lot of actors want to date me. I mean, I guess this one's okay. Would have been her fucking attitude. You know what I mean? Fellas, you
red
do not.
Flag. That's a red fucking
It's a red flag, isn't it? Fellas, you do not get credit for dating down. So do not let these bitches twist your arm into relationships.
No. Ugh.
Don't do it. God, don't do it. Because, like I said, because I had it happen to me twice, and it went so terribly, I finally, when I got back out in the dating world after that last one, because that last one got me really close to her son of 13 years old, and this bitch, and her grandfather who lived with her, and this bitch dumped me. This bitch that's below me, like physically, like attractive wise, this bitch dumps me, and I'm so close to the family, and my heart's broken. Guys, that's another thing. Once you get in relationships with these bitches, never forget, you will get an emotional attachment to them. And once you get an emotional attachment to anybody or anything, you're done. Well, you're fucking done.
Well, they know that. That's why they want to spend that time with you. And the more time they get to spend with you, the more invested you are.
Yeah. When you have an emotional attachment to something, you're no longer at the wheel.
What's
you're
the
no
transaction?
longer at the wheel.
We talk about this in previous podcasts. There is a transaction involved in this. You want sex for less time. They want more time for less sex.
Yeah.
That's the game, you know. So they want your time, your non-sexual attention, and you want their body without having to invest too much time because you got shit you're doing or other people you're doing. Like there's other things going on in your life besides them, but when it becomes more about them in your life than other things, and you should never put anything above what you got going on in your life, because as soon as they see that, they know that you are truly invested in them, and you give them the ultimate validation that she is more important than anything else in your life.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit. You cannot ever do that as a man, because that is a woman that has you wrapped around her finger and got you a puppet on the string and can do whatever the fuck she wants to do to you whenever she wants to do it. And that is so dangerous, because now you're the captain and the XO is bossing you around, and no one else respects the captain on the ship when they see the XO bossing the captain around.
Nope. And then now everybody's in danger because you're in the middle of the ocean and the XO and the captain can't decide who the fuck's in charge.
Exactly.
So, I want you guys to write this down. Again, we're talking, this segment is about she wants to have the talk. I want you guys to write this down because this is really important. When the quote-unquote talk comes, because again, guys, anybody that's read the book, How to Be a 3% Man by Corey Wayne, knows in a vacuum, anytime relationship talk is brought up, the woman is doing it, okay? Now, again, you're the captain of the boat. Someone's approaching you because they want to be the executive officer. Okay? So, this talk can only go one of three ways. Now, the first one is the best one. The first one is, man, you want to be the XO of this boat? You're perfect for this boat. I'm glad you want to be here because I want you here. I'm running a pretty damn good boat, but with you on board, I think we could do even better. You're hired, and that's it, right? The second way that this could go, and that's you telling a girl, hey, you're my girlfriend now. You brought up relationship stuff. You have met all the standards. I'm excited about being in a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. This is awesome. Let's move forward. Because it's going to happen, guys. It's going to happen. You're just going to have amazing chemistry. It keeps building and building and building. Yeah. You're doing everything right because you've listened to this show. You've watched AMS. You've read the book, How to Be a 3% Man. You've watched Donovan Sharp. You are just on your game, and you met someone that you have amazing chemistry with, and you're like, you know what, Jesus, I'm not going to lie. We're excited to have you aboard. This is amazing.
Right.
This is great.
Right.
This is like Crimson Tide. This is like when Gene Hackman got Denzel Washington as his executive officer. And by the way, if you guys want to know the relationship of a captain and an executive officer, please watch Crimson Tide. It's just a great movie anyway. Yeah. You'll enjoy it either way.
Right.
Because it's Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington. Jesus Christ, how can you lose, right? But, they're on a submarine. Gene Hackman's the captain of the boat. Denzel Washington is just a perfect XO, right? Watch that. You'll understand the dynamic of XO. Now, it takes a turn in the story that's not necessarily on base but what we're talking about. But you'll see an amazing captain and an amazing XO until something weird happens. But, again, that's the first way the conversation's going to go. You're hired. Welcome aboard. Here's the second way that it can go, and this is the other extreme. You have to look this woman in the eye, and you have to tell her, you will never be executive officer on this ship. But I enjoy hanging out sometimes. When we have some other officers come over from one boat to the other.
I'm about to say, hey, I'll be pulling in on this port at this date. You can meet me.
Or we're in the fleet together, and you come over here on a helicopter and hang out for the night and shit.
Yeah.
But I need to be very clear with you. And fellas, if you're a real man,
I've done that several times. I've never said it that way.
I've only done it once, and we're going to get into specific stories.
Okay.
But I want them to know how this is going to go when the talk comes.
Yeah.
If you're a true captain, because we've already covered, you will not let these bitches twist your arm, right, fellas?
Nope.
Listeners, say it to yourself. I will not let these bitches twist my arm. I will not be forced into a relationship. Nobody gets on board this boat unless the captain says it's cool.
I'm imagining people together saying, I will not let this bitch twist my
Hey, I like the sound of that. They're doing, hopefully they do that in Denmark this week, right? Our new listeners in Denmark. Shout out to Denmark.
Speaking Danish.
Exactly, man. So the second way that's going to go, if you're a real man, if you're a real captain, and an officer says to you, I want to be XO of this ship, and you know they're never going to be XO of the ship, you've got to tell them, you will never be XO of this ship. I enjoy hanging out with you from time to time. you're never going to be XO of this ship. And guys, more specifically, you know what this is? You're not physically attracted to this woman. She's really cool to hang out with. She's a real, like, Rudy Rudiger in the bedroom.
It could be a physical attraction.
I'm just saying the most common thing, Anthony, is she's just not hot enough to be with you.
I've been with hot chicks that are dumb as fucking rocks.
Yeah,
man.
well, I'm just saying they can't be XO either.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about this cool fucking bitch that you enjoy hanging out with. I mean,
she's fun to hang around.
I'm already thinking of like 5 of them from my past.
Like fun to hang around, but she just
and they're like the socialite of
right.
the city you live in, which in our city would be Houston. They know all the ins and out of the Heights and the Midtown and everything. Like they know where to go, but you're just like
I'm thinking about one right now.
Yeah. And you're just like
I'm
charismatic as fuck.
I'm just
but
not
you're
into
just
you.
like, I gotta be honest with myself.
Right.
I gotta be honest with you. You're not hot enough. Now you're not gonna say this to them.
No.
But you need to be honest with them. Like, look, I love hooking up with you sometime. You're super fun to hang out with. You're never gonna be XO of this ship. You're just not. And you need to be a man and fucking be honest about it.
I've told the chick that hey, it seems like this is the point where we either become friends or we just don't see each other again. And at that point, like, I literally was, because this is the stance in negotiation you always have to be in. You have to be willing to let go and walk away and mean it. So I wasn't trying to, like, because the pressure she was trying to put on me was starting to get a little irritating and annoying. So you're
talking about not one big talk, but a bunch
several,
of little, the lead ups,
like
so you knew it was coming,
So
it sounds like you were proactively trying to get out in front of it, before she did that,
right?
Okay,
yeah, and I knew every time the call or the text came through that there was going to be something involved as far as physical activities. So I was like, man, because she got a healthy appetite. So it's like, shit, I'll lose that. But I'm not ready for commitment with you specifically. So I had to let it go. You know, I had to let somebody else have fun with that. But it wasn't because she wasn't good enough, right? For someone, as far as like, she wasn't worthy. She just wasn't someone I knew that I will be happy with for the long run. I knew that was very temporal, and it was, if I would have been wrong to engage in it and be like, because once we got involved, because that is giving her the mindset that it's okay to let go and be like, trust him, and that he's chosen me now, and I'm going to be getting in deeper into his life. I'm giving her that pass. And so I'm giving her quarters into the ship. You know, I'm giving her keys to certain doors and shit, right? By saying that, but in reality, I knew that wasn't going to be allowed, so I had to let it go. And you guys got to do the same. You can't be selfish. You can't try to hold on to her.
Yeah, real men will not do this.
Yeah, you can't try to hold on to her until she, you know, try to fuck her for the last 3, 4, or 5 times before she cakes the hint.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not saying we don't fuck these bitches too.
No, I'm saying this.
I'm saying you just have to tell them you're never going to be the executive officer on this boat.
Asshole guys will hold on to girls,
give them right?
Yes. Say, I'm not ready for that. Maybe in the future. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna give you some future shit, but I will. Let's say this. Let's say I am interested in you, and I really just don't know. I haven't vetted you enough yet. I don't know who the fuck you are, and I like you. and you're ready as far as the woman, you're ready, and I'm just not sure yet. Now, this is the, hey, apply again.
Well, okay. So that's a great segue because you beat me to it.
Okay.
We told them one of three things are going to happen. So, guys, if you're writing this down, I'm sure you already have this on your paper. When the talk comes, there's only three ways to answer. Okay? We touched the first one, right? The first one is, man, I'm feeling this way too. I want you as executive officer on my boat. Look, bitch, you're hired. You're hired, bitch. Hey. You made it on board.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard, bitch.
You got.
You've been doing all
towels.
the right shit. Yeah.
Got your name on the door and shit.
Man, welcome aboard. All right. So write that down. You're hired.
Hey,
hashtag yay.
What's in my glass right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. We moved on to Monkey's Shoulder for our people following at home.
Deliciousness now. This is scotch, right?
This is a blended scotch.
Oh,
Three blended scotch. If you hear this sound, that's where we're going to.
Deliciousness in my glass
that is
right now.
Monkey's Shoulder Scotch whiskey. And then we talked about the second one was you'll never be hired. Sorry, ladies, you'll never be hired. No, that was actual thunder. That was not Disney DMing us, okay? For some of our listeners from before. You'll never be hired. And we're going to be honest with her, right?
Yes.
But Anthony, you segue into the third way that it will go. Those were the two extremes. You're hired, yay. You'll never be hired, thunder and lightning, right? Mm-hmm. The last one is you're not there yet.
Right.
You're not there yet. And by the way, most of the women you're dating, when they come,
in this category.
When it comes time, they're going to be in this category. You're not going to have a lot of women in your roster, rotation, whatever you want to call it. Anthony and I have told you many, many times, you need a roster of 5 women. Otherwise, you can't compare a chick to 5 women. Now, the yay, you're hired is, I'm dating 5 women, but this is my favorite one. And every time I go out, it's just a fucking amazing experience. We have amazing sex together. We have amazing laughs together. We have just amazing time together. It just seems like no matter what the fuck we're doing, it's just fucking fun. And I'll tell you, I'll give my wife a compliment on this. Sometimes I will say this to her. We will be grocery shopping with a fucking infant child, and I'll be like, man, how come everything we do together is fun? Because, guys, because I was very, very up on what I did not want and very, very up on what I did want, this is what my relationship looks like now. So, guys, it's not just in the beginning. I mean, if you're dating 5 or 6 women, you will see, like, look, these 5 women I'm dating, they're great. They're great. They're good stuff. This one over here is executive at a company and drives a Mercedes. This bitch over here is doing, whatever. But this one girl will just be like this shining star in your rotation. And you're like, you know what? This is some special chemistry.
She's the franchise player.
She's the franchise player. Yeah. She is the James Harden.
She gets all the minutes. Yep.
Yeah. It's she's a Russell Westbrook type of player. You can tell we're biased towards the Rockets over here at Navigation Studios. But it's just, this is a special type of player. If this goes into a relationship, I'm super excited about it. And it's just like, man, this is just the natural progression of where this could go. This is the baddest bitch. This is a unicorn amongst the bad bitches I'm dating. Because I spent so much time putting together this great roster, great rotation. Let's just move forward. So there's not going to be a lot of bitches in your rotation that you're like, you'll never be hired. This is like, again, a real, kind of a unicorn in her own right. These women are usually overweight, but they have pretty faces. I'm just being specific, Anthony. They usually have pretty faces, but they're overweight, and they're really like socialites in your city. And every time you go out with them, it's just like this really fun time. But I ain't trying to fucking have a girlfriend that's a fat bitch because that's just crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like once you girlfriend up with a chick, they lose weight. You know what I'm saying? It's
get more comfortable.
No. It's like, look, you're already, and before we get the emails, I'm telling you, I'm not saying a bitch that's chubby that can start working out with you. I'm saying a bitch that's overweight, like all caps OVER. Weight.
OVA. Over.
Overweight.
Charles Barkley and this bitch.
Oh, damn. She had too much weight on her. It was terrible. It was terrible, Anthony. Kenneth Smith, listen, she was big. But, yeah, but usually her personality is so on point because she's been overweight her whole life, but she has a pretty face. I'm just telling you what this usually looks like.
Yeah.
This is why she got in your roster, because this bitch is fucking fun, man. This bitch is fucking awesome.
Man, look, you fucking describe 57% of bitches in Houston. Like,
come on, man. There's beautiful women in Houston, man. There's beautiful women in Houston.
I didn't. It's just majority of them are cute and overweight, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it is.
I think it has a lot to do with the food here is so
Yeah,
amazing
yeah,
too. It doesn't help ladies.
It don't.
But it's one of those things where this girl will be in your rotation, and it will be really hard to turn her down because the times you have with her are good times. But don't feel guilty because your inner instinct does not, because again, guys, this is all leading towards, we're still on caveman DNA, okay? And the reason men look at women because of their looks is because, again, we do all the physical shit, but we want to pass on our DNA to really physically attractive women that have all the things we're looking for: large breasts,
and if you're
big
older,
big childbearing hips.
If you're an older guy and you're not even thinking about kids, that is still in your DNA.
It's oh man, it's so well said, Anthony. You're so right. Even if you're not trying to have kids, it still affects how you're attracted to women.
Yeah.
And if it's a big girl, she's not going to get smaller, and we all know that. I'm not trying to be insensitive, because these women, don't worry, fellas, these women are going to find men because they're charismatic as fuck.
Right.
Their faces are beautiful.
They
Don't feel bad for these down soldiers, because they're going to have all the women that I know like this, Anthony. And I'm talking about the girls you're saying that you're never going to be executive officer. And like I said, they usually fit a certain profile. They're bigger girls, but they're pretty in the face, and they have amazing personalities. A lot of these girls, and I see them on Facebook, you know, a lot of the girls from high school that I knew that fit this profile, seems like 100% of them have happy-ass marriages. Okay? Because these bitches are fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, these bitches are cool. So, guys, don't feel guilty about this. Okay? They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
Of course. Listen, we're talking to 3% of the men, right? And you're talking about 3%.
We're talking to 100% of the men, hoping they get in the 3% group for sure.
Well, we talk about 4%, so that's the highest.
Our goal is to move. Our goal for this podcast is to make Corey Wayne have to retitle his book, How to Be a 3% Man. It's like, there's so many men that have read the material. Now we got to change the book title to How to Be a 4% Man. Because we ticked the needle over.
The reason I say that is, for the most part, and this is why women have had the advantage in the dating game for such a long time, that most of the men do not apply any of this information that we're talking about, right? The being able to be a man and being masculine and being able to decide who is right for you. You know, a woman can't decide for you who you want to be with, right? This is your fucking ship, right? So she can't decide who gets to board your ship. and tell.
No.
So
Not until she's XO.
Well, yeah,
Now,
that's what I'm
once
saying.
she's promoted to XO,
she has to earn her spot. Yeah.
Now, but see, that's the thing, because I don't want people listening to this program to think we're sexist. Once you get promoted to XO, a lot of power comes with that.
Yeah.
You get to, if I'm not there, you get to decide who comes on board, who gets off board. Hey, what are the logistics of what's going on? And by the way, that's why an XO makes your life better. You know, an XO enhances the ship.
Yeah, there are ads. They add to you. They add a like when they say a house, a woman can make a house a home type of shit.
Well, the analogy that I think of is, and again, this is coming from a former fighter. Okay, to me, out in this crazy jungle of life, once I have an amazing woman at my side, it's like I was defending myself with my bare hands, which I can do because I'm taking care of my shit. I'm in the gym lifting weights. I'm learning how to fight, shit like that. But to me, once you have an amazing woman in your life, it's like you're now carrying a gun. That's what an amazing woman can do. She can enhance you. Mm-hmm. Now, it's still up to you to like learn how to aim the gun, how to fire it, how many bullets are in it? Do I need to switch clip out? Do I need to clean the gun? Blah, blah, blah. But a powerful woman in your life can enhance, you know, Rambo. If you've seen the movie Rambo don't need shit but a knife. But boy, you give him a bow and arrow and some explosive arrow tips. That motherfucker bad.
Yeah.
But he don't need it. But it enhances Rambo.
Right.
You know, giving him an M60 machine gun, he could run up and fuck these motherfuckers up by hand. But give him an M60 machine gun, now he's really enhanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before we get too far off subject, though, because, again, if we're writing these down, guys, you're hired, yay. You'll never be hired. But, Anthony, let's spend a lot of time, because most of the women on your roster are going to fall in this category.
Pending.
As we said, you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Let's spend a lot of time on this category. Yes, Anthony. See, this is the category that I think they want to hear about, okay? Because the girl, you're hired, yay, super easy, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, God, this is a dime. We have amazing chemistry. Hell yeah. I'm glad she brought it up. I'm gonna mind my P's and Q's. I'm not gonna bring up relationships. I'm gonna follow the rules. Right. Waited till she brought it up. And before we leave this segment, I'm going to come back to that one so that they don't fumble the football. Okay? But the thing where you have to man up and say, you'll never be hired, you just have to man up and do it. But if they take that in as a principle, it's usually not that hard, Anthony, because these are usually like 4, 5s, and 6s.
Yeah, it's easy.
If you're and they're hard to let go of because their personality is amazing.
Well, they're not easy when that's the only chick you have.
Well, right.
And so that's why it's important to have
your rotation.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, they're 4, 5s, and 6s. If you're just a really high value or highly, highly attractive male, it could be a 7 at the least. But if you're that guy, you're dating 8, 9s, and 10s, and if this falls off, it's not going to fucking change your world. But
I think that's where Travis was, where this is the only chick, and she had a great personality, and he was like, well...
She didn't sound like she had a great personality.
Yeah.
Travis needs to change his standards. Yeah. This bitch was obviously manipulating him. Again, guys, episode 10 if you want to follow that. But, yeah, he was kind of in that, I don't know... But, guys, where you're going to have the most trouble is when one of these chicks that you value in your rotation is like, where is this going? I'm going to have the talk, okay? And I'm going to share with you a personal story, because I have a good one on this, of the we're not there yet, or as Anthony hilariously said a second ago, pending. So, we're not in the category of you're hired, yay, or you'll never be hired. Yeah, I mean, we're in this middle range of I've decided as a man, I will not fucking have my arm twisted, motherfuckers,
Right.
into a relationship, you know. So I'm at that point in life, Anthony. I will not have my arm twisted, but I've got a chick who has made herself a bit valuable, but I'm not there yet, you know.
Yeah.
And there's some obvious red flags that I'm kind of holding in, but I'm going to allow her to learn what to do to go ahead and get herself established for this environment.
I was gonna say, like, if you're seeing red flags and you are younger and you're able to coach them and you're trying to see if she's coachable, or she's gonna just wanna, is she gonna get on your boat and just wanna rewrite rules and shit? That's not the case. You're going to
But
vet her.
given time, mammals will
Adapt.
eventually cohabitate, right? I mean, mammals are smart. They can eventually like get it together. And she's not someone that you can honestly look in the face and go, bitch, you will never be hired as the executive officer for this boat. So she's in that weird middle range, and you kind of, in your mind, you don't want to lose her because she's a very valid bitch in your rotation. And
See that's hard when you don't know enough though. Like,
right.
So that's why you can't. That's like signing a contract and not fucking reading it.
Well, let's use our analogy to the fullest. It's like hiring an executive officer for a naval ship, and then you don't discover that they suck until you're in the middle of the fucking Pacific.
That's bad.
And that's a bad fucking deal, right?
Yeah.
So, what our listeners want to know, Anthony...
Throw that bitch overboard.
Well, that's illegal, unfortunately.
I was thinking it. I ain't say I would do it. I was just thinking it.
You're like,
out
but
loud.
I might throw her ass in the brig. I don't know. Like,
Right.
well, what do they call it on a ship? What's jail called
No,
on a ship?
It's
It's called the brig?
yeah. It's damn. Now you got me.
I'll let you think about
I've
it.
had whiskey.
Sergeant
and
of
scotch
Arms.
today.
Yeah, Sergeant of Arms.
Well, the
take them to the
Well, the Master at Arms will
Master at Arms. I'm sorry.
will dictate that, but you said the brig, but I think it is the brig.
Oh, okay. But we're not there yet. You're going to feel compelled to get your arm fucking twisted, and many of you listeners have had this happen, or you're going through it right now. So let me share with you a personal experience. And let me share with you, so that there's no mystery as I go into this personal story. Fellas, this really ain't that hard. Okay? But you have to follow our directions on this. And it can't be, well, I kind of did that, but no.
So you're about to go specifically
I'm about to go into a specific conversation that was really had.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm going to tell you where, I'm going to give you a couple of pauses in this story so you could see some pitfalls I could have fallen into. Okay? So, the talk happens. And it's just like you said, Anthony. There were little things leading up that I was very, very aware of that I easily sidestepped. Like, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that later.
Did she leave
kinds of
clothes
things.
over at the house?
Yep.
See,
Yep.
little shit, man.
Yeah. Would buy me stuff. Like, I mean, it was just like she was really doing what you were saying. Like, hey, I was in the area, drop by. Like, that's really only what girlfriends do, and she fucking knows that shit, you know. And and there's the other thing too, where she's getting personally attached. We're not talking about like a fucking cyborg Battlestar Galactica Cylon, They're not just always plotting against you. Women get fucking emotionally attached too, of course. They're human,
a fucking
right?
Funny analogy.
Yeah, so it's like, so she's getting, emotionally attached. And the little things had been leading up, right? It's like, oh my God, this is a good one. And guys, be aware of this. They will start talking about timelines. Oh my God, like, We have been seeing each other for like 5 months. The time flies, right? And you're like, okay, but you got to take note. Why would she bring that shit up? You know, she's trying to move this thing forward.
Hit.
So this is like where she tries out like a talk on me. Okay. Now I want to tell you guys that it's really important for you to note before I talk about this. Most of this was a lot of silence on my part. I want you to notate that before we start going.
So you're gonna all right, go ahead.
We're gonna talk about the specifics. So we're sitting at my kitchen table, we're eating dinner that I cooked, by the way. She came over and
did she bring wine?
To your point, Anthony, yes, she brought wine.
Write that down on your notes, too,
Write
fellas.
that down on your notes. If you cook for a woman and she comes to your place, you're probably gonna get sex, okay? So cooking for her is cool, but if you ever cook for a woman, she's got to bring something to contribute. Usually wine is the easiest thing that she can stop off here in Houston, H-E-B. You can just stop off and get some wine. But anyways, so we're sitting there eating dinner, and she's like, oh my God, it's been 7 months since we've been seeing each other. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. It's been fun. Do you see how much silence I'm giving?
Yeah.
And then she goes on. She's like, yeah,
What
I
you
don't
supposed
know.
to say? I mean, that was a statement.
Listen, Anthony. Our listeners will tell you, don't underestimate a motherfucker's ability to feel like they need to fill the fucking gaps and say dumb shit. Like, you're just experienced with this. Usually, if there's any fucking gap or any silence, some motherfucker feels like they got to fill the holes.
They were like, oh, it's my turn to talk?
Yeah, you just have to be confident enough to be quiet. And then they'll wait, and they don't realize what they're doing. But this is a human reaction where you're seeing who's going to talk first.
Well, whoever talks first loses, right? So,
well, that's what we say most of the time in sales, right? So in this situation, very similar. And she says, yeah, I just, my parents are always like wondering, like, where are you and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, really?
Really?
Your parents seem cool. And it's like, yeah. So, okay, I just told you that we've been seeing each other for 7 months. Okay, so she's going to now test me with anger and frustration. It's not, by the way, to our listening audience, this isn't genuine anger and frustration.
No.
This is just a woman being like, hey, I gave you sex for 7 months. What do I get out of this? For sex? You just get some sex. That's all you get, man.
Sex was mutual. I didn't take it.
I mean,
God damn it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just, but that's an old school mentality. And this particular person came from an immigrant family, which kind of still subscribed to that. And they were
conservative.
They were churchgoers also, right?
Ultra conservative.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, I just told you. Listen, I just told you that we were seeing each other for 7 months. I just brought up my parents. What are you not getting here? And I did classic Coach Corey Wayne shit, because I'll never forget how open-ended he did.
I'm not used to women being that fucking like.
Oh yeah, she was very aggressive, Anthony.
I don't like that shit.
Yeah, she was very aggressive. Again, I think I've talked about this on a podcast before, but she would yell at her parents on the phone. And I always thought, look, hey, that's a red flag.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm the one motherfucker on planet Earth she ain't going to yell at? She yells at her own fucking parents. But anyways, I digress. So I said, okay, she's like, I'm trying to tell you, like, my parents are talking about you, and we've been dating 7 months. Like, what are you not getting about this? And again, a Corey Wayne video. it's a real open-ended way to approach. You just continue to ask her, what do you mean? And you make her tell you
exactly
what she means. And
That's
this is a
big.
Great technique.
No, it's very big. I do that all the time. It is not a accident that when I do this, that they cannot explain themselves. They're so used to getting their way by stumping their feet and raising their voice and throwing tantrums.
They've been doing it since they were toddlers.
And people will respond. So when you hold them accountable and ask them to, explain or expound on exactly what they're trying to say, then you will find out that they really have not a lot to say in the first place.
Yeah.
And they wanted you to come to a conclusion, right? They wanted you to interpret them, but in this scenario, you do not bring up relationships before they do. So,
yeah, because we already visited that.
Yeah.
You're hired, yay. You'll never be hired, no. Or this situation, we're not there yet. And so I said, what do you mean? She goes like, it's obvious what I mean.
No,
and
it's not.
And I simply said, if it's so obvious, then just tell me what you mean. And that was the first time the conversation came. Okay. So then fast forward a week later, and she went into typical shutdown mode,
Tantrum.
It wasn't so much a tantrum. We still hit the sheets at night.
Okay.
No problem. Because she was feeling like, ooh, I don't know where I stand with him. This is hot. This is sexy. This is drama.
I'm trying to see
where is this going?
I'm trying to see what the conclusion was. Like after you said that it was obvious. Then explain it.
Yeah. So she shut down. She's like, I'm gonna throw a fit, and I'm like,
so she
okay.
just really said nothing else after that.
No, she said nothing else after that. Okay.
Really?
Oh yeah, but don't worry, I'm coming right back to that.
Okay.
So we were coffee shop. That's where it was. We were at a coffee shop. She was out working, and I met her. I was in sales out in the field. She was out in the field, and I met her at a coffee shop. Same thing happened. We've been seeing each other 7 months. And I've been telling,
retarded.
Well, you could tell she had a moment where she's like, all right, let me go back to the drawing board. What happened last time? Oh shit, that didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And she was like, well, and I told you that, like, I'm not allowed to date white guys. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Again, what do you mean? But I said, what does that mean? That, like, it was really big.
It's like some guilt shit, though. Like,
Anthony, it's the only fucking weapon they have.
It's like,
guys, write that down too. It's like they don't have skills to get you unless you meet a unicorn that you got perfect chemistry with. They don't fucking have skills to get you. All they have is shame and guilt on you. And that's exactly where we're going again here. So I would say, so what do you mean? Well, me telling my parents that I was dating a white guy was really big deal. I was like, so what does that mean? Well, it means that, like, I put myself out there. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a big deal.
I didn't ask you to do that shit.
Well, again, I'm thinking it, but I'm not saying it. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, well, thank you for that. And she's like, and again, she hits that phrase. So where's this going? I was like, oh, so that's what you meant when you brought this up over dinner. Bitch, I'm paying attention. Okay, this isn't. I know you sat around with your girlfriends for a fucking week. I was like, he just doesn't get it. Men are so scared of commitment. I don't know. I brought up to him. I told him about my parents and yeah. She sat around for a week with her girlfriends doing that shit. And I brought up very quickly, like, I didn't forget the conversation. I was like, so that's what you meant. That's why I asked you, what do you mean? And she felt like she was about to be like, oh, now he gets it. And I said, I don't know. I don't feel like we're there yet. And she's like, well, what do you mean by that? So she's going to try to flip it on me. What do you mean? And I told her, I was like, well, I'm not saying, and let's go back to you'll never be hired. I'm not saying that I don't see us being in a relationship, but where we're at today, I don't think we're there yet. And she's like, well, I mean, we've been seeing each other for 7 months. Like, are you just like dating other people? I mean, do you even like, how many people are you sleeping with right now? And I calmly, and again, guys, you got to stay calm.
Yeah.
You have to, because I want you guys to remember, this is probably your top girl on the roster. This is probably your top girl in the rotation. You are going to, your first instinct is to panic, okay? Because you're going to be like, this bitch could just walk out of my life. And calmly, I said, look, and I want you, write this down too, guys. Look, I'm not in front of a grand jury right now. I'm not going to be sitting here and browbeaten by questions. What do you want to know? And she's like, I want to know if you're seeing other people. Okay. So we're not monogamous. Yeah. So none of that is anybody's business. And I strategically didn't say, that's not your business, because that's confrontational. I was like, none of that's anybody's business. Just like your life is not my business. And she's like, oh my God, you're dancing around my questions. I was like, no, I'm not dancing around any questions. You have privacy from me because we're not monogamous, and so do I. Okay? Say, what does that mean? You know what it means? When I'm monogamous, I'm very serious about that. That's why I don't rush into anything. Because when I'm monogamous, I'm in it with both feet. You can get that. You can get that, like, I don't want to rush into anything, right? Yeah, I don't want to do that either. Okay, so I'm not there yet. But it's very flattering to hear that that's where you are. Well, I think it's fucking bullshit, Wesley. All right, so are we going to do the grand jury thing? Then I would have to be able to ask you some questions. So you said we've been seeing each other for 7 months. I'm the only man you've been seeing? Is my first question. Nope, don't answer. Because I know you don't want to answer that question.
And I'm not requiring it from you because I'm not trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess how many times we had that conversation ever again? 0 times.
Yeah.
And that girl was in my rotation, and it never went anywhere else. You know, I later, her and I had a falling out, and then shortly after that, I met my wife. But we dated, as she proclaims, 7 months. And until we finally had the talk. And Anthony, I've had that same talk with many women. I finally realized, like, I would not have my arm twisted. I just wouldn't do it. I had 2 really bad relationships where they begged me into the relationship. And then once I was in it, they made my life a living fucking hell.
And imagine if you...
After I dated down.
Imagine if you said you met your wife right after that. Imagine if you agreed.
Let her twist my arm into a fucking relationship. I'd be over there miserable with this person.
Yeah.
And not happy, as I pointed out earlier in the podcast, not just having fun grocery shopping with a bitch. Like, you walk over to your wife and like, you are a bad bitch. I have fun with you with a fucking infant in the grocery store, just fucking grocery shopping. Because... And this is a specific thing, guys, because I'll talk about. We'll have a podcast later on unicorns. I promise, because I have a lot of takes on this. But more specifically, my wife, because I used to be a kitchen manager for a restaurant here in Houston. I still like to run my kitchen like a kitchen manager. I like to it's a game for me to be able to save money and use everything in my kitchen, and use, if something's going bad, we'll get together a recipe to make sure to use the food before it goes bad so you don't waste any of your money. And it's like a game to me. And my wife's the exact same way. Her family was the same way. So it's like just something stupid like that, guys, can make a woman a unicorn for you. Like, we would probably never sit on this show and be like, you know what a bad bitch is? A bitch that wants to save money at the grocery store. But for me, that's unicorn level because my wife and I bond like that every week. Like, we're trying to fucking cheat the system. Oh, really, Kroger? You got pork shoulder on sale? I got 6 pounds of pork shoulder for $6.32. Bitch, give me that shit. Ha! Got him! And that's like a game we play every week. That's like my unicorn. But to your point, Anthony, it was like, had I just had my arm twisted by this other chick who I found very attractive, who we, was great in bed and shit like that, I'd be in a very, very miserable life. So being able to manage the talk, guys,
essential.
It's such a huge piece.
You can see which direction
to your game.
You can see what direction you would have been in if you was not able to handle that conversation correctly or manly. You got to be able to fucking...
You got to be able to be the captain, and your life is the ship.
Yeah.
And the highest this bitch can get hired is executive officer. And guys, this goes back to, and this is a sidebar to the segment, but this goes back to, guys, dating is not to impress women. That's what movies show you. You got to show up with flowers. You got to show up with chocolates. You got to take her to the right place. You got to do all this. Now, as Anthony points out, with his strategic dating, it's got to be fun. But it's got to be fun for you, because this is not an interview that you're on. She's on an interview to get on your boat in your life. I need you guys to move your paradigm to that level.
When you can turn the corner on that changes so much for you that you don't get caught up in this simping shit. You're
the CEO that's looking for a great vice president of your company. And if you found the perfect one, Jesus, how much more profitable could your company be? This is awesome. But it's still your company. Guys, when you're dating, you're the one hiring, not the other way around. Okay? Because if you guys do move on to a relationship, which means engaged, which means marriage, which means kids, you're the captain of the fucking boat. So it needs to start that way, and it needs to continue that way.
Well, man,
that's why you have to handle the talk so well, because you're the one doing the interview, not her.
What's also key following that, you're in a relationship / marriage, you don't hand over your fucking boat.
No.
So it never changes, guys. This is a lifestyle change.
Oh,
this
is so well said, Anthony.
This is not just to get a girl. This is how you live your life. That's it. And you can't. And if you're not ready for that, you're not ready to deal with women. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, if you're not ready for that, you're ready to deal with women, in my opinion, Anthony, but you're not ready for the relationship. Because that woman will run the fuck out of you.
Well, when I say that is, if you truly want change, if you want direction, if you want control of how things work in your life, you can't be with a woman and giving her those powers, right? She can't have free access to inside your life. I found a video that I had recorded, man. I was just talking to myself, and I was very, very confused about what had happened to me. So I guess I recorded myself talking to myself about what the fuck was going on, because I was so confused.
This is before you and I had the opportunity to download on Life every day together.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell just happened? And I was even confused about what belonged to me. This was real words. I was saying, are my emotions hers or mine? Because
was this in a prior marriage?
No.
Oh, okay. But it was a relationship?
Relationship.
Gotcha.
And so I said, if I give my emotions to her, do those emotions belong to her or are they still mine? And I was confused about this, literally confused. And then towards the end of the video, because I could see the pain in my eyes and shit, I was like, who is this bitch? Who did this to me? And so,
yeah.
And so I was like, well, I came to a realization that they are mine. I just gave her free access to them I just gave her the keys and said, hey, my emotions are in the back, in that door right there. Mi casa is su casa, and feel free to have at it. And the bitch just, ruined me, right? And what was happening was that I was coming to a realization. This is where Red Pill will find your ass. You was like, I don't know what happened and why, but I don't want this to happen again. I had even said in the video that I'm not going to ever give my emotions to another woman, which isn't the right way to do it, right? You just gotta know.
But that was your anger talking.
Yeah,
that was your hurt talking.
You gotta let people earn their way. You can't just give it away. I'm not gonna give anything away. You have to earn your way into my life, into my circle.
And to Anthony's point, you need to know this. This is why 50-50 in relationships is not a thing. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself. 50-50 in a relationship is not a thing. Because if you're not the captain of your boat and your XO takes over, guarantee your crew will mutiny. And now you've lost your boat. And again, this whole podcast, your boat represents what? Your life.
Yeah.
And so now
you're not a captain without your boat.
Yeah. Yeah. So if your crew mutinies and you're no longer in charge of your boat, the analogy here is you're no longer in charge of your life. And that's why
some
the XO...
deep shit. There's some deep shit on the Red Pill.
That's the way, tap. That's why the XO... the XO can never start questioning the captain. Now, Anthony, I want to go back to, again, we said when the talk happens, only 3 things can happen. You're hired, yay. You'll never be hired, sorry. Or we're not there yet, right?
Pending.
Exactly. So we handled, you're not there yet, yay. You'll never be there. But the only way that we handled you're hired, yay, was with this. And it's appropriate. Hey, thank you guys. Look at them. They're happy.
Hey, nothing wrong with... Everybody like getting a new job, man.
Down here in Navigation Studios, filmed in front of a live studio audience. But we need to touch briefly on, excuse me, your hired yay, okay? Because, motherfuckers, you can fumble this football terribly if you don't handle it right. So... the girl comes to you, and she's like, hey, where's this going? They're always going to come to you firm, because it took a lot of courage.
They're not used to this shit. Yeah, they're not used to
women do not deal with rejection well, because they don't get a lot of rejection, right? So this is foreign territory to them. So that the fact that they have to come, the audacity that you made them come and suggest a relationship to you, and they're crossing their arms. So they're coming at you, guns a-blazing. And guys, you're going to stay calm. Yeah. You know why? Because you got a fucking unicorn that wants to be in a relationship with you, and this is the only bitch you want to hang out with anyway. You're like, man, I'm hanging out with 5 or 6 different bitches. I'm meeting bitches on the regular. But man, this one, I just can't get this chemistry at home. I can't get this any fucking where else. If she wants a relationship and you're ready and she's checked all the boxes, right?
Yeah.
You still have to be cool when the conversation comes up.
Definitely.
Okay? You can still, and Who do we have? Bruno? Bruno out there. Man.
Why are you picking on Bruno, man?
No, I'm not picking on Bruno. Bruno to me is like an 18-year-old Kobe Bryant. I just see I see so much
Potential.
like this. I'm like, Bruno could be the greatest ever, but he's still 18. Like, he's got a lot to learn about this game. You can still, to all of our Brunos out there, you could still fumble the football on the 1-yard line. And here's how. She comes to you, like, and she's going to be bowed up. And she's going to be like, so where is this going? And you're going to say what I instructed you to say earlier. What do you mean? What do you mean, what I mean? Like, we've been going out for like 9 months. Like, you haven't approached me about anything. What do you mean? What do you mean, what I mean? I mean a relationship. A relationship. Well, with relationships. What do you mean? I mean, like, the two of us, like, being together. Well, I'm not opposed to that. But what do you mean? Like just in a relationship? Yeah, I'm in a relationship.
What does that look like to you?
Yeah.
That's one of my things when they don't want to explain themselves.
I would have thrown them a bone there, though.
Yeah.
Before. No, I love that, Anthony. What does that look like to you? So you're not just conceding, but you throw them a little bit of a bone, and you give them a little something like, well, I don't know. I think I might like that. What does that look like to you? Yeah, because they're coming at you bowed up. They're like a cobra. They've got the fan out. The cobra's off the ground, and they're like, I can't believe all these dudes in my DM, and I gotta come to you and talk about relationships. Bah! You know, I mean, just.
Where is this going?
Where is
Leslie?
this going? And by the way, they're going to envelop you in an embrace and just bury their head in your chest when this is over, if you handle it right.
Right.
Okay? So.
Because, by the way, this is good. This is what you want. And, again, if she's the one, right? And you're not going to, like you said, like, you're not going to be overly eager, like, yes, I can't wait for you to bring this up. I was real worried that you was never going to talk about it. I was going to write you a letter and everything.
Let me tell you, fellas, when this comes up, even for your unicorn, let me tell you, when this comes up, don't rob women of the perfect ending to their love story.
Right.
Don't, because it's what they want. They want to go tell their girlfriends all about this. Okay,
girl, I got to snatch him up, girl. And
yeah, well, she wants to like have this big moment. You know, she wants to have this big moment, and you're like, so what does that look like to you? Well, it looks like I love you, and I don't want to be with anybody else with you. And I want to be married, and I want to have children, and children are very important to me, and my family loves you, and I want this to be, I want you to be the love of my life. And let her talk. This is very important, guys. Don't be so fucking self-indulgent that you rob a woman of this moment. This is why romantic comedies exist. This is why fucking romantic novels exist. This is what women, they want to have this story.
Let's say this, man. The reason you say that is because as a man, you already had this feeling. You already felt this way.
Anthony, thank you. Oh, Jesus, I almost missed that. Thank you for fucking interjecting. Yeah, guys, you've been feeling like this for like 4 fucking months.
Right.
And you've been like, no. I'm going to follow Corey Wayne's advice. I'm not going to bring up relationships.
Right.
I'm going to let a woman bring up the relationship because women, their heart opens slowly like a flower blooming.
Exactly.
Again, we've made jokes on this podcast before. When you see a flower blooming, you don't go up there with the water hose on jet setting and just spray that motherfucker down.
Right.
Here goes some fertilizer, motherfucker. Take that fertilizer. Open up. You know, it's just like, no, dude, you gotta, your analogy that you used, Anthony, when you boil water, You don't sit there and watch that motherfucker boil. You put the stove on and you walk the fuck away. That's what it's like. A woman's heart opening is this beautiful, delicate, slow thing. So you got to let it happen. So, Anthony, I'm so glad you brought that up. It's like you've been thinking this shit for 3 fucking months, if not 6 fucking months.
Right.
So by the time she brings it up, she's frustrated.
Right.
But now that she's like frustrated and brings it up, and you're calm and you're not talking a lot and you're letting her talk, but my family loves you, and I feel like I don't know where this is going. So that's how you feel, huh? And marriage is important to you, and children are important to you, and you pretend like you're thinking about it. I don't know. That sounds dope. And she's like, really? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. We just have great chemistry. We just always have, right? Like, what, so you just want to be me and you from now on? I didn't think about it till you said something, but but man, this is I don't know, girl, this is a good idea. And she just like falls into your arms, but you have to say little. Don't give her like, oh my God, girl, I've been waiting for you to say the same thing. Oh my God. Right. Hashtag same.
Right.
You have to stay in your masculine frame, even though you're hiding excitement. So I just wanted to touch on that briefly, Anthony.
Yeah.
Did I cover enough of that?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure. I know we had a third segment here of red flags. Now, we don't have a lot of time left in the program, and I apologize for nothing, Anthony. It's just because we were so passionate about that second segment, well, and about the first two, because I think the first segment we spent a lot more time on it. But you had some great notes for the audience, and I always give you credit. I mean, Anthony, your approach to this program with your show preparation, I've just conceded it's always going to rival mine, because you're just a cerebral guy that way. Now you have some great. So as we go into this segment, red flags, you had some big ones for our listeners. Now I want to preface this by saying, don't come into dates, guys, like the fucking Terminator. Like, oh yeah. Bitch ordered an expensive drink. Fuck that hoe, man. And throw water in her face and tump the table over and walk the fuck out. Because I think that a lot of guys get obsessed with red flags and they ignore green flags. We can do a segment on that later. But Anthony, I think, is more correct by saying a lot of men aren't vetting women, and you are fucking rolling out the welcome mat for these hoes, and you're ignoring obvious red flags. Don't worry, Anthony's here to help you. Anthony, what's your first big one?
My biggest one, and me and you talked about this before, and red flags mean stop, motherfucker. That's what red flags are for. It's a caution.
That's at a red light.
Yes.
Like you stop and you go, what's going on here?
Right. Exactly. You get to look both ways.
Before crossing the street.
You was like, oh, wait. You was here first? Go ahead, go, motherfucker. You was here first, go ahead. You was on my left? Okay, go ahead. But my biggest one is, how do they treat others?
I'm sorry. I'm giving Anthony a round of applause because that glowing ex-girlfriend of mine that we talked about before.
Yeah.
I want to support your point. Every time we went to restaurants, treated the waitstaff like shit.
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
Later, I found out there was a major fight between her and an ex. How she, like, Jesus. Oh, so every time we go out, so it was another boyfriend observed this, not just me. Jesus, every time we go out, you treat the waitstaff like shit, and it's fucking embarrassing.
No doubt.
And she's like, what? Yeah, but that's just her natural self.
Yeah.
What did you mean specifically about how you treat others?
Because we said this earlier about one of your exes yelling at her parents. She's
Oh,
not
man,
gonna.
yeah.
So she's not gonna yell at me one day. So if she's treating you like shit, if she's treating waitstaff like shit, let's say she's upset with whatever happens. Let's say she has a legitimate reason for being upset. But if she treat them a certain way, guess what? When she feels that way about you,
Right.
she's gonna treat you the same way. So how she treat others is very important to me. And if she's being an asshole to people who she see beneath her or serving her, like wait staff, that's huge.
Wait staff is real truth serum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the wait staff are not able to fight back.
Nope.
They're just like,
gotta take it.
I would lose my job.
Right.
The way you treat people in retail.
Yeah.
Karen wants to talk to a
Manager. Yep. Every time.
Man, no, Anthony, that is like, I don't think you could have nailed a better red flag than that because when you go on dates, you're constantly around service staff members.
Right.
That is such a super easy one. But I don't think that men don't notice it. I think they just make excuses for it.
Right.
Well, I don't know. They weren't that good of a bartender anyway.
Right.
Motherfucker, if you ever worked in the service industry, which both you and I have in restaurants specifically, I love how hotel people think that they're in the service industry. It ain't the same fucking thing, motherfucker. I know it's 24 hours, but it's also like the pace of a hotel is so much different than a restaurant.
Well, a hotel restaurant can rival a restaurant.
Especially if you're the general manager of the hotel restaurant. Jesus
Oh.
Christ. You got the worst of both worlds.
Oh, my gosh. I wouldn't even want to. I don't envy that position at all.
But I digress. What do you have as your next red flag? I know you have some good ones.
Oh, yeah, man. A history of short relationships and no longevity, especially if they are on repeat.
I'm going to go a round of applause on this one, too. Here's why. General rule of thumb when it comes to people, and this is guys or girls, when motherfuckers are self-deprecating, joking about themselves, let me share with you, these motherfuckers are telling you about themselves. And as a golden rule of thumb, when people are talking about themselves, when they talk about themselves, believe them.
Yes.
If the last 23 dudes this girl was with beat her.
Oh.
All right. Well, nobody's for beating women, but how come you keep getting beat up?
Yeah,
like,
common denominator here.
Common denominator. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. If you once or twice maybe, but damn. Everybody's beating your ass? Something's wrong. Something's very wrong.
I don't know, man. The last 4 relationships I was in, all 4 of the guys was trying to get nuclear weapons to attack the United States with. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Really, bitch? The last nuclear weapons? What? No, they were real jerks. They were real jerks.
Yeah. Stay out the club. Like,
stay out of Osama bin Laden clubs. Jesus.
Yeah. Let's see. I got another one here, and this could be depending on who you are, but social media addict.
Ooh. Okay, so this is a good one. Go on, Anthony. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You just like shot an arrow right through me on this one.
Appearances are more important to them than reality. If you guys are different in this aspect, man, more than likely you're gonna be very frustrated in a relationship if she's all about social media and you couldn't give a fuck about it, and that's all she's doing. She's worried about how she looks online.
Let me tell you this, because this goes. We didn't get to this segment when we were the first segment with jealousy. The first segment with jealousy, I had a note to myself, but we had to move on to the next segment, but it applies here. There have only been 2 times in my life that I've been worried about a guy on social media. both times those guys fucked my chick. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like those chicks made me feel like I was the most jealous, dumbass motherfucker. I'm telling you guys, social media will creep into your house. And if they're just constantly going on to... I mean, a lot of these people, Anthony, are playing a game of The Sims, if you guys have played The Sims, and they're the player in the game. And they're just trying to level up.
Yeah.
As much as they can. Oh, shit. I'm at a... Hold on a second. I'm at a restaurant. I've got the menu here. Bring me... What is the coolest looking thing you guys have on the menu? Because I want to take a picture of it, because that's going to get a lot of likes.
Right.
Those obsessive social media types are... I can't imagine if my wife was like that. You know what we do, Anthony? My wife and I, we'll take a lot of pictures of our kid because it's our first kid. And we're excited. But some motherfuckers, and especially women, they'll be just as excited about, look at the restaurant I'm at. I'm taking a picture of my food. This could be that you and I are older, Anthony, but the social media types are just so annoying to me, man.
Because one, if you're on social media, you're always on your phone. You're not
always
living your life. You can't
always
experience fucking life
always
that's around you, and it's so annoying. If you can't put your fucking phone down, and if you're always posting what we're doing, that's one thing I don't do. If I take a picture where I'm at, I'm probably gonna post it after I left that place. I'm not gonna be like every fucking minute of the hour of what I'm fucking doing with my life. You don't need that. You don't need that information.
All right, I'm just glad that we got to the third segment. You got time for one more, Anthony?
All right.
You've got a lot of good stuff for our listeners. I'm kind of pissed that we didn't get to all of them.
Let me pick a good one out of here. Let's see.
We should get a Patreon account where we could have an additional podcast afterwards for our super fans.
Bonus round.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know we always pick 3 big segments, and we have a 4th segment always lined up, as we did tonight. And just so you know that we're not making this up, our 4th segment would have been social proof over your needs and experience. But I digress, Anthony. What else do we have on red flags?
If another red flag is if you don't like their friends, more than likely you won't like them.
I hate that you said this, and not because it's not a good point, but this could be a whole segment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please, Anthony, we don't have a lot of time left.
Look.
Explain this to the audience. This could be a whole segment.
I'll try to keep it quick. One of the best ways to explain it is like you're typically are the 5 people you hang around the most, right? So if this person that you meet and she's doing, like, her friends are doing shit that you were like, how are y'all friends? You are totally different from what your girl doing, and she's loud, she's like rambunctious, she dresses very promiscuously.
But I'm different.
Yes. She's not friends with her because they don't agree on shit. Like, I don't think I have friends that I disagree with all the time. I mean, it's just bad, and it's just bad chemistry, right? So make sure that if you are hanging around, if she's hanging around women or dudes that you typically don't like, then most likely you're not going to like her because she's going to agree with their shit because she's going to get advice from them about your ass anyway. So if you don't get along with them, more than likely you won't get along with her eventually.
And later, if you're in a relationship, now you're fucking imprisoned with them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Donovan Sharp has a great example about that with his girlfriend. She had lost her best friend because she didn't get along with Donovan.
Man, I love this podcast tonight. I feel like we got a lot done.
Yep.
I feel like we invited everybody to all of our platforms. I can't thank you guys enough for coming down to Navigation Studios and sharing this show for us. Anything else, Anthony?
Don't forget to subscribe and like if you're on YouTube, and leave a comment, please, if you got something to say. Even if you're like saying, great show, your show sucked. We just want to hear from you guys. Thanks for listening.
Seriously. We appreciate all the time you give us, and we hope it helps your life a little bit more down here at the Red Pill Phone Tap.